Warm greetings from the High 10. It is the Vault XL. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to read you a little bit of information and then I'm going to pan the camera to the screen so you can see and hear the audio and video pertaining to the said information. Okay. I think I'm moving too fast. Let me turn it around. Thank you all so much for joining me. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Hello, Hagen. Hello, Pinto. Once again, if you'd like to donate to the Great Network, $, the Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Going to turn this around so you all can get a better view. Judge upholds school suspension. A team for Dreadlocks. ABC News Live is the source for this information. Thank you for joining me.
Texas judge has sided with the school district in a very controversial case involving a decision to suspend a student over his dreadlocks. Daryl George is a junior at Barbers Hill High School, and his lawyers claimed the teen's hairstyle was protected by the state's Crown Act, which prohibits discrimination based on hair. Well, the back and forth has been going on for months, and because the school district said George was not following the dress code, he spent most of the school year in school suspension or at a disciplinary program. Well, now that Texas judge has ruled that the state's Crown Act does in fact not make it unlawful for school dress codes to limit a student's hair length. Our Morgan Norwood joins us now. So Morgan, first of all, we want the audience to hear the reaction to this ruling from Jolanda Jones, the Texas State Representative for House District 147.
And one of the ways that we as Black people are able to grow our hair long, like maybe some of our European counterparts have, is that we lock our hair or we braid our hair. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point, she says. Well, what do we know now after this ruling?
Look here, I can just say it's a pretty shocking decision, and it was reportedly met by sighs and frustrations inside that courtroom, including from advocates and supporters of Daryl George. I mean, this was a months-long legal battle, right? The district had asked the judge to weigh in on whether their policy violated the Crown Act, which, of course, we know prohibits race-based hair discrimination at work or at school. So in this case, the student handbook said that male students' hair can't extend past the eyebrows or the earlobe. So again, all of this centers around hair length, right? The judge saying it doesn't necessarily discriminate against the hairstyle, only the length. So George and his family refused to cut his hair. Instead, we've seen him wearing it straight back away from his face, above the earlobes, right? The district said it still violated the policy and then he since faced punishment on that. And based on the ruling that we got today from the judge down there in Texas, the punishment removing George from the classroom, that in-school suspension cure still stands.
Well, and we have seen the advocates not only in his area, but across the country.
Yeah, advocates have really pushed back on this, right? They say this rule is really a loophole, allowing districts to still discriminate on certain hairstyles. Let me just take off my correspondent hat for a second. I can speak as an African-American woman. In order to have braids in the first place, your hair needs to be at a certain length in order to catch the strands, cornrow it back, or even lock it. So texture and length are key to getting this hairstyle, which is, of course, we know is rich in culture and to many other heritages, has significance, has meaning. So what advocates are saying here, Kira, is that rulings like these are a way to control or prohibit these types of hairstyles. We are getting reaction from the district at this hour. They're saying the decision, the Crown Act decision, was meant to allow braids, locks, or twists, but never intended to allow unlimited student expression. So we see a little bit of back and forth on both sides of this, and I'd have to imagine for the family here, they have plans to fight this.
And you bring up such an important point that there are so many things that make up our culture, and hair is definitely one of them, specifically in this situation. Appreciate you, Morgan. Thank you.
All right, so what's the 411? Weigh in. Going to put up a poll right quick. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Vault XL. Not necessarily the hairstyle says to school, but the length. So he pulled it back. They still say it doesn't count. Very interesting. Okay. So I guess that wouldn't matter if it's a ponytail, straight hair, white hair, black hair, Mexican hair. The length can't be long, whether you have it pulled back, pulled in a ponytail, which is soever. Oh, well now. 1 second. Let me get to my page so I can put this poll up right quick. Thank you for joining me. This is a 2-part live, everybody. Thank you for your time. This is also live number 2. Please check out the earlier live pertaining to Adam Montgomery. He was found guilty in the second-degree homicide of his own daughter, Harmony Montgomery. The mother has also spoken. She feels elated that he was found guilty. Maybe she can get some peace now. All right, 1 second. Hit those thumbs up. Thank you. All right, start the poll. Did the judge make the right decision to allow this child or disallow him to attend school? What nobody is thinking about is the fact, well, this may affect his disposition, may become an angry person, vengeful person, not being able to see his friends, be a part of school activities. Is it worth it? This is what you have to ask yourself. I understand schools have policies. Did the mother read the handbook thoroughly, or whoever his guardian is, that you could not have hair below the ear as a boy or a girl, or a boy rather? Then some might say, well, why should the girls have long hair? It's up to you. And yes, hair is an expression of oneself, thyself. But this school has its policies. Did they violate the policies? Number one, the mother, the child, and the child can't do no more than what the mother allows. And if the mother read the handbook thoroughly and was instructed that he could not attend the school with long hair, then one can say, why would you send your child to that school, knowing your son has long hair, whether you're African-American, white, whomever? Did I not put the poll up? What's going on here? Do I have too many? Maybe I have too many. I don't understand. What's the problem? For some reason this poll's not posting. Hold on. I don't understand what's going on. Oh, well. I can't seem to get the poll up for some reason. This is weird. Hello, everybody in the chat. I'll just shorten it because I don't know what's going on. So 100% of you said no. How many? Only 2 votes. Come on, you guys. 2 people voted. 40-something people watching. Come on. Take the poll. Naturally, the school want to admit to biasness because he's African American with dreadlocks. They're saying it has nothing to do with the style. It's the length. No long hair, period. No matter what the style is. Do some of you even believe that? I guess I should put that as a poll as well. Now it's changed. 57% yes, 43% no, 7 votes. Okay. 30 people watching. Fluctuating. Take the poll so I can close out the poll. Put up another one. Hello, everybody in the chat. Next poll. Two votes only. You guys are killing it. What's the school bias? Because of the dreadlocks, but they don't want to admit it. Because he can't be a happy camper, this young man. Who wants to go to an alternative school or a school with kids that, maybe he's not vibing with, all because of a hairstyle? Because in the end, some are going to think that's really what it's about, the dreadlocks, not the length. Then some would flip it and say, well, what if it was a white boy? He had long hair. Would you have put him in alternative school? Naturally, that would be the question asked. So far, 7 votes, 86% yes, 14% no. That the school's biased. That they're not admitting the truth. That it really is about the dreadlocks and not the length. All right. Are you done taking the poll, everybody? So I'll close out. All right, I'm going to get to my next commentary pertaining to the bodies found in a grave behind a jail. One second. Hope you all are well out there. Thanks for joining me. Second live. This is coming out of Jackson, Mississippi by Whitney Lachey. A distressing situation is currently unfolding in Jackson, Mississippi, as 215 bodies were recently unearthed in unmarked graves behind the state jail. The families of those laid to rest in the Pauper's Field behind the Hinds County Penal Farm were never notified of their loved ones' passing, depriving them of the opportunity to claim the remains and pay their final respects. The magnitude and extent of this tragedy, along with the profound disregard for human life, are still largely undisclosed. However, the reported details thus far are deeply unsettling. The resting places of the victims are marked only by a numerical identifier and a metal rod. The bodies were not preserved, provided with coffins, or given a proper burial. Inmates were responsible for digging the graves, and it is likely that they also carried out the burials. Repeat, the bodies were not preserved, nor were they provided with coffins or a proper burial. Inmates were responsible for digging the graves, and it is likely that they also carried out the burials. That does not sound good, because that means they had to watch a dead person and carry the dead person into the grave, because the dead person didn't climb themselves in there. So that means a human being climbed them in, which would be the inmates. So imagine handling a dead corpse for God knows how long and throwing it into a grave without any type of shield, box, coffin, and then dirt shoveled on top of the person and then marked with a number. Somebody has to be stand account for this. This is ridiculous. An activist named Arthur Silky Slim Reed, known for the outspokenness, recounted a grim scene at the burial site during his visit. He described buzzards circling overhead, drawing by the unsettling stench emanating from the improper burials and shallow graves. The shocking revelation emerged through the determination of Betty Sten Wade. For 7 long months, she tirelessly searched for her middle child, Dexter Wade, who inexplicably vanished in March of 2023. However, it wasn't until October 2023 that Betty Sten finally unraveled the truth. Tragically, Dexter died shortly after leaving his mother's home. While crossing a nearby interstate highway, he was struck by a Jackson police car. Now, imagine that. Despite being aware of Dexter's identity, the police failed to notify the family, even though he had identification on him at the time of his death. Instead, the police department allowed Dexter's body to languish unclaimed for months in the county morgue. After officially reporting her son missing to the Jackson Police Department on March 14, 2023, Betty Sten persistently reached out to inquire about any updates. Despite only a few days passing since his disappearance, her concern drove her to seek answers from the police. Wow. Desperate to find her son, the grieving mother sent photos of her son to the police, pleading for them to share the images on TV. Disappointed with the lack of assistance from law enforcement, she took to social media. She appealed to the public for their help in locating her missing son. Speaking to NBC News, Betty Sten revealed the difficulty she faced in deciding whether or not to involve the police. Her hesitation stemmed from her lack of faith in the department after her 62-year-old brother tragically died at the hands of a Jackson police officer who used excessive force against him in 2019. Although the officer was convicted of manslaughter, they are currently appealing the ruling. Several months passed before a new investigator assumed responsibility for Dexter's case in August, finally informing the Wade family of his death. It took Betty Sten an additional 2 months to locate her son's remains in the Pauper's Field. Notably, like the other victims interred in the same burial plot, the Wade family had to pay a fee of $250 to claim Dexter's body. Wow, that's cold. It was a Tuesday afternoon in early October when Betty Sten, her sister, and her daughter were escorted to plot number 672 by a sheriff deputy and 2 inmates. It was here that Dexter Wade, father of 2 girls, was buried. And I'll give you a brief synopsis of that. Hold on one second. If you all can see that, this is the family at the burial site getting the body. Okay. Since the initial disclosure, numerous additional distressing accounts have emerged regarding the corpses interred at the Hinds County Penal Farm. Marquita Moore was devastated when she received the heartbreaking news of her older brother's death According to an online article that exposed a troubling situation, Mario Terrell Moore, 40, was one of the 24 homicide victims whose families and the public were not informed by the Jackson police. Mario's name appeared as the second on the list. All 24 victims were from a single year. Wow. It was October 10th when Moore stumbled upon the heartbreaking news of her brother's death. To her shock, the article passed away on February 2nd, over 8 months ago. NBC News reported that when Moore learned of this devastating loss, she could not contain her emotions and cried out, "Oh Lord, this is my brother. Someone done killed my brother." When Moore uncovered the truth, she rushed to the Jackson's police main office for further details. However, she was informed that no one was available to assist her. Later, Moore discovered that Mario had suffered a brutal death, his lifeless body wrapped in a tarp and abandoned on the street. Unclaimed for months, his remains had rested in the Hinds County morgue. Finally, on July 14, inmates at the county penal farm laid him to rest in the Poppers Field. One moment. Similar to many other families, the Moore family has been deeply devastated by the news. "What are you hiding?" Moore said in a recent interview. "Why can't you just come and tell somebody that their child is gone?" Mario was buried on the same day and in the same location as Dexter Wade. On December 4th, the family of Jonathan David Hankins, 39, received news of his death through various media outlets. Hankins was initially reported missing in June of 2022, nearly a year before the first two cases. This suggests that the practice of burying victims on for years. Jonathan Hankins was discovered dead by authorities just days after he had gone missing. On May 23rd, 2022, his lifeless body was found in a hotel room in Jackson. The circumstances surrounding his death strongly suggest an overdose. The investigators swiftly confirmed his identity without any complications or delays. However, following the pattern of previous cases, the Jackson police neglected to inform the family, and Jonathan's body was laid to rest alongside others by the county inmates. His final resting place is marked with number 645. And this is now a white man. The Hankins family's journey mirrors that of countless others. Jonathan's mother, Gretchen, regularly called the sheriff's office for over a year, desperately seeking updates about her son. But each time she was met with the same disheartening response. No new information was available. During an interview with NBC News, Gretchen Hankins expressed, "I want people to know that somebody is not doing their job and making folks go through what I've been through. They can't even do the job of notifying a dead person's next of kin. They probably just thought another drug addict, gone." Here's a picture of John David Hankins with his mother Gretchen and daughter Brooke. Photo by Gretchen Hankins, the mother. The shocking revelation of a Poppers Field graveyard has regularly made headlines on and off again since the first major case was unveiled last fall. However, the news coverage fails to align with the magnitude of the crime or the intensity of public outrage. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, where was I? Many crucial questions, such as identifying the remaining bodies, still need to be answered. The establishment puts minimal effort into conducting a thorough investigation, and crucial information is purposely withheld from the public. Commenters share their widespread reactions and responses to one TikTok that went viral on the story. One user, Emma, writes, "I really want to say I'm shocked, but I'm just not anymore." The comment has 8,000 likes and is filled with replies such as "me too," and "the fact that I'm not shocked breaks my spirit," quote unquote. Some Comments express frustration, wondering why this isn't making bigger headlines. Another video, which has garnered over 1 million likes, showcases how TikTok seems to be the only platform where the topic is being discussed. Wow, of course, countless more express more outrage. This sickens me to the core to bear. The system is corrupt everywhere, and I trust nothing if it comes from our government. Countless videos on social media mirror these exact sentiments. Another photo of the grave. That's all left to mark a grave of people who no one wanted to contact their family members. How cruel is that? A metal rod with a number. Very scary. The public's response reflects the current state of America. People are devastated, heartbroken, filled with intense anger over what has occurred. Despite this, there is little shock or surprise. And it's no secret that the government will be careless in its disregard for human life. Numerous threads of the social crisis are intricately woven into the unfortunate situation. All three individuals mentioned have been battling some form of addiction. Despite official numbers stating over 100,000 yearly drug overdose deaths, this is likely a severe underestimation. Countless others fight their addictions daily without access to publicly funded resources for support. Incarceration rates comparing to Mississippi and founding NATO countries. Mississippi is at a high rate of 1,031. United States, I think this is 644, 664. United Kingdom is number 3 at 129. Portugal, 111. Canada, 164. France, 93. Belgium, 93. Italy, 89. Luxembourg, 86. Denmark, 72. Netherlands, 63. Norway, 54. And Iceland, 33. So Mississippi has a very high population of incarcerated individuals. Some of the individuals who lost their lives were already familiar to the police, having had previous encounters with the law. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, as of 2023, almost 2 million people were incarcerated in various types of facilities across the United States, including state and federal prisons, local jails, juvenile detention centers, immigration detention facilities, and other specialized institutions such as military prisons and psychiatric hospitals. The cruel and brutal nature of our society infiltrates every aspect of daily life, resulting in devastating outcomes. The stories and hardships of these individuals buried at Hinds County Penal Farm are not isolated incidents. They represent the harsh realities millions of workers and their loved ones will endure in 2024 across the United States. The field where they are buried. Some groups have tried to frame this as solely a racial issue. Still, it seems the general public is not buying into this narrative, like in similar events. Activist Arthur Reed has spoken out multiple times, stating that this issue goes beyond race, as both black and white individuals are buried in the pauper's field. A shared characteristic among all of the victims is their societal status as working class and impoverished. Whitney Lachey is the author of this commentary. Very scary. Let's go into the belly of the beast, everybody. Thank you for joining me.
The gruesome discovery of 215 bodies buried in unmarked graves behind a jail outside of Jackson, Mississippi, has left a community in disbelief. The families are angry their loved ones were buried in so-called paupers' graves, marked by just a metal rod and a number, and families were never notified of their deaths. The startling revelation came months after the mother of 37-year-old Dexter Wade filed a missing persons report last March. It wasn't until August when Betterson Wade learned her son had been hit by a police car and killed, then buried in that same cemetery. For more about this case and the disturbing details that have emerged since then, I am joined now by Betterson Wade and civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing her and other families. Welcome to you both. Ms. Wade, can I just begin by saying how very sorry we are for your loss, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Officer.
I understand, Ms. Wade, you contacted the Jackson Police Department after reporting that your son was missing several times, even after he had been buried without your knowledge. Give us a sense of what they told you over those many months and what those months were like for you, not knowing where your son was.
Well, it was devastating to me because I didn't know where he were. And then I was calling them. They didn't have no information to let me know, have they, found any information. All the, details that I gave them for leave, they never came back to me to say, well, that lead led to something that we can work with. And I just couldn't believe that he had disappeared off the face of earth and nobody knows where he at. And it was just horrible for me. And every day I wake up, I just look, just looking for him, just out in the streets looking for him. And I mean, that's heartbreaking for a mother. And can't say hello, don't know how to get in touch with him. That is a horrible thing for a mother.
Mr. Crump, after it was discovered that Dexter had been killed, that he had been buried in this grave, his body was exhumed in November. There was an autopsy conducted. He was given a proper burial. But I also understand a wallet was found in his front pocket with his ID, his home address, his insurance card. What's the explanation officials give for why no one was notified he had been killed and buried?
There really is no explanation that they have offered. They claimed that they tried to reach out to Ms. Betterson, and you should know that Ms. Betterson is the named plaintiff in a lawsuit against the Jackson Police Department because they killed her brother 3 years earlier. She went through 2 criminal trials, had several press conferences. So when they called her house, if they did call her house like they claimed, they knew where she lived. They knew how to get in contact with her if they really wanted to notify her that her son Dexter had been hit by a police car. So it is very suspicious that they would just bury him in a pauper's grave because they said they could not identify his next of kin. Ms. Betterson does not accept it, and because of her tenacity, it has exposed all of these loved ones being dropped in a hole in a bag behind a Mississippi jail.
Let me interrupt right here. So her brother was murdered by the police, excessive force, although he was convicted, but still. Is this personal? Is it personal against all these men? Because 200 bodies, that's a lot of vendetta. We also have a white man who was a drug addict. Some of these other people were drug addicts. So let's count out of the 215, how many had criminal records, how many were drug addicts, how many had direct contact with the law in Jackson, Mississippi, and the officers that came across the body said the hell with it. I know this guy, he's a nobody. We ain't gonna worry about it. Leave him in the morgue. Or is this morgue understaffed, number one? EMT workers, because you can't have one without the other. You got to have EMT workers to come to the scene, number one. Somebody has to perform the autopsy, number two. Somewhere has to be stored after the autopsy. And then somebody has to notify next of kin. That's where police and detectives come in. So it's a stair-step situation, conglomerate. Who's to blame? They have a black mayor, if I'm not mistaken, so what the hell's the problem? How many are black? How about that? How many are African American? It seems that most of the men were working class, impoverished, as she wrote in the article. So would this have happened in another community over from Jackson, Mississippi? We have learned that Jackson, Mississippi, like a lot of other cities, towns in Mississippi, are very poor. The state itself is poor, excuse me. It's one of the poorest states in the Union. And you think back to hundreds of years of slavery, then slaves being free, still not being able to have rights, African-American people in the country, and a country that I'm sure that was thriving hundreds of years ago when slaves were brought into this country. Look at Mississippi now. It's doomed. And if you go into YouTube Q, you will see a lot of videos about Mississippi. There's one guy who I follow on YouTube. He's a YouTuber. He goes down into different locales around the U.S., and he's done some videos lately about Mississippi. And it's a sad, sad case. It's poor to the core. We've also learned over the years, they have a high rate of HIV statuses in Black Americans, no health care, no medical insurance. So the state is suffering altogether. And I won't doubt that it's Black and it's white also suffering. But how do you explain this scenario? Because this doesn't look good for the state as an entirety. To just dump bodies behind a jail, creatures crawling above because they smell the death underneath the ground. Vultures flying above. No embalming, no casket, not even in a wooden box. No respect, just throw a body inside of dirt. Who does that? Maybe you do an animal that way. Bury your dog wide open, no cover, no tarp. Your birdie, your goldfish. Most people have enough respect to at least put a pet rabbit or a goldfish in a damn box and put it in the ground. Who's going to stand to count? Will these people sue? Hell yeah, they're going to sue. Why not? It's the American way, is it not? But this is ridiculous. Now, the state will bury you if nobody claims you after a certain amount of time. They also will seize your items from your home, apartment, if nobody claims you. And then they take those proceeds, sell those goods to put toward the fees of burying you. But this here is a totally different ball game than the state burying you. You just seem to be, you don't want to do the footwork of notifying people. So the hell with it. We'll leave them in the morgue. We won't go out on the foot and look for their mama, daddy, cousin, sister, brother, daughter. We'll wait, take them out, take them behind the jail. And why are you taking them from putting them behind the jail? Oh, that's right. Because you know somebody will go tell you just hired some regular old person or a migrant to throw an open person in an open grave. So you're using the inmates, what we would call, what, hush money? But it ain't no money involved. They won't tell. Who will believe them? Is that the consensus? We'll use the inmates. They won't tell anybody. Oh, but I'm sure they did tell somebody because people talk in prison, people talk in jail. And they know just as much as you know out here on the street. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Mr. Crump, the Jackson mayor did say there were mistakes. He also just said that Dexter Wade's death was a tragic accident. He said there was no malicious intent in failing to notify the family. We know the police department has new notification procedures right now. What recourse are you specifically seeking right now for these families you represent?
We're seeking to have the Federal Department of Justice come in and do an investigation to make sure that each and every one of these citizens, disproportionately Black citizens whose lives matter, will be identified, their families notified, and them given a proper funeral.
And I should say, Ms. Wade, I mentioned families because you are not alone here. There's been, in the last few months, the discovery at least 2 other men, 40-year-old Mario Moore and 39-year-old Jonathan Hankins, were also killed and buried in that same cemetery, and their families not notified for months. From your perspective, Ms. Wade, what do you want to see happen now?
Well, first of all, I feel like that the city needs to give me an acknowledgement to say that, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, just give me some kind of closure and explain to me what actually happened to my son on that freeway that night.
Exactly.
You know, how did it actually occur? You know, just what went down, the events that went down with it.
Yes.
And I want to see justice. I want to see justice done for this.
Amen.
Because it's wrong. It's wrong to take somebody's child and bury them in a field and I didn't even get a last chance to say anything to my child, or I didn't even get a last chance to just say, baby, I love you. Just to look down on them and say, baby, I love you. They haven't even came and called me and said, Miss Wade, could you come down and we explain to you what happened?
They're not going to explain.
I mean, I haven't even got a word. And so how do that feel? That makes you feel like they are guilty.
Amen.
They are guilty of a crime because
Say it, honey.
they can't tell you what happened.
Amen.
Ms. Wade, do I understand correctly that the mayor, no one from the police department has reached out to you to explain what happened to your son?
No one have reached out to me and said, explain it, to explain what happened to my son. But I did at least have city supervisors, the board supervisors to say, that they hated what happened to me. But I haven't had said anything. Nobody from JPD, Jackson Police Department, have came to me and acknowledged me.
Mr. Crump, the story gets even more disturbing with this discovery of 215 bodies in that cemetery. What do we know about those bodies?
We know based on the records from the coroner's office that since 2016, in the last 8 years, we can identify 215 individuals that were buried behind that jail, and their families have not been notified. Furthermore, Mr. Wade was number 672. That means there are 671 other people buried behind that jail, marked with only a number.
Mr. Crump and Ms. Betterson Wade, I thank you so much for joining us. I have a feeling we'll be following up on this story in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Let's chop it up. Let's weigh in. What's the 411? What's the 411? Because it's not just white people, black people. We want to say they're racist. We know mostly it's probably predominantly black that live in Jackson, Mississippi anyway. So what's the problem? White men, black men. You didn't hear that there were any women in there. I hadn't heard there were any women. Were there any women buried? Let's go there. Were there any women? You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you, Craig. Welcome all new visitors, chat members, new viewers, new subs. Welcome to the Vault XL. This is a diverse commentary channel. I talk about everything, not just true crime. So if you see me talking about T.I. or a rapper, don't get stunned. Thank you for tuning in. And happy weekend to everybody. Let's chop it up before we get to the next video. Well, what's the problem? Poor state, poor ideology, laziness, don't give a damn. Hit by a cop. Let's go there. You're hit by a cop. Oh, hell yeah, we're going to cover this up. Because we don't need mama suing. We ain't got no money to pay nobody for no lawsuit. He hit deliberately. Oh, shit. Excuse my language. 200 bodies, Craig. Craig, don't you start no mess now. It's 200 bodies, sweetheart. 215, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks like it's kind of personal. And I know some people are going to sit here and say, well, wait a minute, Queen. That's still a lot of personal vendetta, 200 something bodies. But we know that we have racism within our own race as African Americans, as I've said to the chat before, people who don't understand the dynamics of being an African American person. We deal with a lot of adversity being black. Everything is not racial, but everything is about interpretation. So you can interpret things the way you see fit, such as this story. Many people are going to interpret it as they want, but let's be truthful. You can't explain 200 plus bodies thrown in graves behind a damn jail. And you're using the inmates as the guys to do the burial. This is slavery. This is despicable. Because you're using these guys locked up to bury these random people that you don't want to go notify their family. And that's what it's looking like to me. Say what, honey? What's the number? Really? Well, my article had 200 something, but either way, The point is, you can't explain throwing all those people back there. You didn't even put them in a box. You didn't even put them in a box. Make it make sense. So this is a hustle. This is a grimy hustle. We won't do the footwork to notify the people. Hell, we might even knock them off, nobody will know, and we'll use these inmates to bury them. Because now you have to question, were some of these deliberate homicides? Not just overdoses, not just somebody got drunk and fell over and hit their head. Somebody got shot by Ray, Pookie, or Bubba. But hell, a little bit of everything. So what, honey? It's been going on since, well, the point is, nobody should be thrown into a grave without notifying someone, not being put in a box, not being put in a casket. That's just disrespectful. Come on. That's right. Ray, Bubba, whoever. Jimmy John. You see, there was a white guy in there, so they ain't discriminating down there. We don't give a damn if you black, white, Indian, Mexican, migrant. Your ass is just gonna get thrown in there. I don't give a damn about you. I ain't getting ready to go look for your mama. I'm not getting ready to go look for your daddy. I ain't getting ready to go look for nobody. I'm just gonna throw you in there. And to me, it just looks like it's probably a combination of deliberate homicides by cops, homicides by random people, drug overdoses, just the fact that, well, he don't look like he got no money. We ain't going to look for his mama, daddy, cousin, sister, brother, nobody. That's how it looks. That's how it looks. Well, they did get away with it. But what's crazy is, who is the whistleblower? Because somebody had to blow the whistle about the grave. And I believe Mr. Crump said this goes back to 2016. So we're now in 2024. That's 8 years, coming up 8 years or so. So who is the whistleblower? Who is the person that dropped the dime on these bodies? That's what I'd like to know. Will these victims, family members, get restitution, get monies? Because there's no way you can say they don't deserve compensation. Yes, they do, because this is despicable. This is not how you treat the dead. I don't care if they robbed, stole. That has nothing to do with nothing. Every person deserves a proper burial. And you're talking about hundreds of people, so you can't explain that logically. Random people missing, wallets, keys on them, and you just threw them in a hole and said the hell with it. And then you got these women reaching out to the police department. That's even more crazy. So you have to know that these people are in the morgue or back there in that hole, and you're not saying nothing. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened to your son. I ain't heard nothing. I'll let you know. You had to know something, because you know damn well Jackson, Mississippi ain't that big. And I'm telling you, the dead was talking because the vultures were flying above. The vultures were flying above. And the people in the jail, you know they were calling people and talking to people and telling them on the streets. You won't believe what they got going on behind this damn jail. You know they told it. That's probably who told it. Former inmate, possibly. Possibly. Somebody said something about organ selling. Don't know. Could be. Yes, it's about a month old, Hyacinth. Whatever's going on, it's despicable. And you know it had to smell. Let's talk about that. The audacity to do it, the audacity to use inmates, the audacity to think nobody's ever going to tell the truth. And look how long it took for it to get out. Stay woke. Conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. Who is going to take the blame for this atrocity? Plural. Who's going to take the blame? People coming to work. people coming to the jail did not smell the smell. Oh, wait. All the people that go work in the jail, from the nurses, nurse practitioners, government officials, you didn't smell the smell in that area? Please stop it. Hey, Bobby, what's that smell? I don't know. I guess it's the hamburger helper they're having for lunch, dinner. What about the guards that work? You didn't know what was going on back there? Come on, let's discuss this, because somebody knew about those bodies back there. And we're talking about 2016. If you did it all of a week, that's too long to be dumping bodies. So 8 years of dumping bodies near a jail. Make it make sense. Nobody told this week 1, week 2, year 1, year 3, year 5, year 6, year 7. This is bullshit. Who's going to stand up and take the blame? It's the police, because they're the ones that notified next of kin. Checkmate. So now we're talking about a corrupt police department in Jackson, Mississippi. So maybe that'll be my next video. Who's the chief of police? Who's the sheriff? What are you getting out of dumping these bodies back here? Pure satisfaction? Is this some type of underground group with cloak and daggers? Because a lot of you like believing in that type of stuff. Are they sitting around in some room in their underwear with hats and cones on their heads, smoking cigars and whiskey? What are we talking about? Because this is horrible. I assume so, Craig. I haven't heard it was close. The article I read didn't say it was close. Let's go to CNN and see what they have to say about this debacle. Thank you for joining me. This was uploaded 2 months ago. This is victim number 2, who has been recognized as one of the victims thrown in the Popper's Field. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Don't mind the commercials. Everybody knew. They taught exactly what would get going on real fast. Well, you got to explain 8 years of this stuff. Make me understand how you got along 8 years. That's too long.
An investigation by a CNN affiliate has revealed Jackson, Mississippi's police department did not publicly disclose the names of dozens of homicide victims this year. We recently told you about Dexter Wade, a man in Mississippi who was hit and killed by a Jackson Police Department vehicle and buried without his family's knowledge. Wade's mother told me about when police finally contacted her about her son months later.
Well, when they first called me and said we found Dexter, I said, oh, Lord, let him be okay. So I said, where he at, or what's, going on with it? She said, well, I'll let Officer Gerard come out there and talk to you. And right then, when she said that, it's just, my heart dropped, because I knew, I just knew that he was deceased.
New reporting by CNN affiliate WLBT has now revealed a similar case. 40-year-old Mario Moore was killed in February, buried in the same Pauper's Field where Dexter Wade was buried. Moore's family did not find out about his death until October, after seeing his name in WLBT's reporting on more than 20 homicide victims that Jackson police did not disclose to the public. Joining me now is the investigative reporter who brought this to light, CJ LeMaster of CNN's affiliate there in Jackson. CJ, good to see you. This is, I want to say unbelievable, but not. It is heartbreaking. Tell us this story, because unlike Dexter Wade, who was killed by an off-duty officer, this man, Mr. Moore, was found dead and then reported to police. What's his story?
So what happened here is a situation where he was killed by blunt force trauma. That's what we know. He was found wrapped in a tarp on a street in the western part of the city. And at that point, police claimed they did not There were conflicting reports as to whether there was even ID found on him, but suffice it to say, it took some time for them to identify him. But at that point, all we know from the captain who was in charge of detectives for the department.
Let's read the bottom. They're not following protocol to notify people that the loved ones have been murdered, found, deceased. That's why I said this is a police issue. 20 victims so far have not had release of names to the public. Why not? Why not? They don't want to do the work. I don't know if they have high crime in Jackson, Mississippi, but the point is somebody is saying, hey, fuck it. We're not getting ready to go notify nobody. We're going to leave these bodies in the morgue. We're going to play possum with the medical examiner. The medical examiner has to be calling to say, hey, what about this guy over here? This guy over here, have you notified anybody? Because that's not the medical examiner's job. It's the police's job. So they have to be lying to the medical examiner. The medical examiner has to be complaining and say, hey, I don't got any room. I need you to get these bodies out of here. I need somebody to start claiming these bodies to make room for these other people coming in. Somebody has got to explain what the fuck is going on here. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. What is going on? So we want to know, did somebody open up the bodies of these dead folks to make sure all their organs are in there? Since some of you think this might be organ harvesting. I think it's a lack of, they don't care. I don't want to do the footwork. I ain't getting paid enough to be a cop. I ain't getting to go find nobody mama. That's what I think. They don't want to do the work. So it don't matter if you white, black, green. You don't look like you're somebody important, driving a Mercedes-Benz and got hurt. We ain't going to notify nobody.
He told us in an interview that essentially they sent a detective to a home that they found in connection with Moore. They left a card, and that was it. There was no follow-up. We pressed the captain for this in one of our interviews, and he didn't really have any explanation. He said, well, that is sufficient. Now, we know now that since all this had happened, since NBC and other national news agencies have picked up the story as well, that now the city of Jackson, the police department, for the first time has a death notifications policy, a 6-page policy. So that came out of this, but it took the family not finding out about this until October for any of this to happen and for the ball to be rolling. And I got to tell you, Victor, this is something. It was one thing for us to find out that there were 24 individual victims, 22 cases that the public, that we had not been told about. But to find out that one of those was a situation where the family wasn't told either, it like you said, it's heartbreaking. You can't fathom that.
Yeah. Let's listen to Mario Moore's sister, Marquita, here on what she expected from police.
How many times do you come back to notify the family if you did come here? Did you come back the next day? Did you try to follow up on your report?
And so what is the department doing now? These 24 individual victims, we now know that Moore's family has been notified. Are they trying again to?
Oh, sorry about that.
So at this point, we don't know. In fact, the department has, as you might imagine, been fairly tight-lipped since these investigations have come forward, since these two cases in particular have garnered such national attention. The department only speaking through a city spokesperson at this point. But it seems, at least going forward, that this will be happening. But even when I tried to get information about these 24 victims, so we could even put that out there to try and help detectives, because you would think that detectives would need that information to the public so they could garner leads, so they could look forward to developments in the case. We got very little. I'm saying maybe a paragraph's worth of information. And so that's part of the problem here. We talked to the captain about this, Captain Abraham Thompson, who, by the way, after our story came out, I think a day later, he was shifted. He's no longer over detectives in the department. He's not over a single certified officer. But he told us, he said, well, I'm not even really that frustrated that information didn't get out because we don't want to put a time frame on solving these cases. And that sort of flies in the face of what you're familiar with. I'm sure people, the first 48 hours are the most crucial when it comes to investigating homicides.
Yeah. And what more is Jackson saying about this specific case and what they are planning to do as they move forward? You say this new 6-page protocol?
So this new 6-page protocol, we actually just got a copy of it not long ago. I want to say it was a day or so ago that we finally got a copy of it through a records request. And essentially, it puts Jackson in line with other agencies, with other cities, frankly, smaller than Jackson, that requires every effort to be made to be able to contact these individuals when something happens. Keep in mind that the city actually has blamed this on a miscommunication, on a failure of communication, if you will, but recently has shifted that to blaming the coroner's office because, according to statute, the coroner's office does have responsibilities in notifying the family. And so what we saw with the Dexter Wade case, what we're seeing now with the Mario.
Okay, so here we have this gentleman saying the coroner has to notify the family. Interesting. So not the police? Lord have mercy. I thought it would be the police would be the ones to notify. Because you've seen that happen. Someone passes away, there's ID, they make ID. It's usually the police that goes to someone's house, home, to say, hey, we found your brother, your sister, your child. So I'm kind of confused here.
More case is that there's this shifting of blame to the coroner's office. The coroner's office, as you might imagine, not returning our calls, not saying anything publicly about this. We may see more details when it, I would assume, becomes litigated at some point. Obviously, Ben Crump has been retained by both families here, and so hopefully we'll learn some answers through that. But it's certainly been incredibly frustrating to not really know and have any accountability in something like this.
All right, CJ LeMaster with WLBT. Thank you so much for your time this morning and for your work on this story. The police department and coroner's office sent CNN copies of their reports. The Jackson mayor's office declined comment.
Well, we're not shocked at that now, are we? Are we shocked at that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because what can you say? Because somebody has to stand account for this debacle of deceased people. So what's the 411? All right, everybody. Let's weigh in. Give Queen the business. If the coroner didn't see the victim, then someone else is at fault. Now, that's a good point. That's a very, very good point. Did the coroner see all of the men, women, or whomever is buried in those graves? Good point. Damn good point. Because that's what we're assuming. Oh, the police, they saw who's in there. They saw all those people beforehand. The coroner, medical examiner, they saw. So that's a good point. No, very good point, JJ. No paperwork, no trace. But in the end, paperwork or not, somebody went and told that these people were in the burial. So somebody, I don't care who it's going to be, somebody has to stand account for those dead bodies being out there. So somebody has to say, yeah, I'm the orchestrator of this nonsense. Somebody. You think those inmates want to go out here and bury men, dig up holes, and as someone said a while ago, those holes had to have been shallow for the vultures to fly above. So that means they weren't even 6 feet down, the appropriate amount of, leverage to put a dead person down, even in a casket. So this is crazy to me. It says, no, the coroner didn't, as it saves money. Mississippi has got no money. I already know they don't have any money. As I told people before this video, Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the union. For those who are not familiar with the state of Mississippi, they don't have resources. They don't have money. Many people are poor that live in Mississippi. There are a lot of HIV/AIDS cases amongst African-American people in Mississippi. They do not have health insurance. They're not covered. Many people are not covered with insurance. So this is a serious situation. I don't know what's wrong with my lighting. My lighting is horrible. Sorry about this. Yes, it is. If you didn't know, it's a very poor state. Who's going to be the fall guy? I don't know. Somebody's got to fall. She's no, they don't. They did it as they did. They would be going in a hole. Say what, El? What are you saying, El? I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean about going in a hole? I don't understand. Well, let me call one of the fans, because I'm sure one of the fans has something she'd like to say. 1 second, everybody. Hope you all are well. Imagine how polluted the ground is. Well, they don't care. They don't care about the ground. They don't care about that ground being polluted. They could care less. But just imagine being an inmate having to go bury somebody and throw them in a hole. Just imagine that, how crazy that is. Okay, yeah, I'm in jail, but hey, you're violating my rights to be dumping people in holes. I'm supposed to be in jail. I'm not supposed to be burying people. It's crazy. Just reminding of burials at children's homes. Huh?
Hello there.
Hello, can you talk?
Yes.
All right, run it to me.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
These people still need to be properly buried,
Okay.
and I believe the state, the county, whatever, should fork over the money to properly bury these people because
But they're not. But they're not going to do that. You know why? I just charged you $250 to claim a body that I didn't even give a damn about throwing in that damn hole in the first place. Why am I going to pay you one damn dime?
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's wrong, but I understand that. Because the government is out for money. That's all they're out for.
Yeah. Well, how cold is that? Whoever was in charge of this debacle, you threw these men out like trash, and then you have the nerve to say, oh, well, the secret's out. I see you've heard about our little secret. You need to pay us $250 to get your loved one out that damn hole.
No.
Wow, wow, wow. That's deep.
They should never have charged those people $250
Oh, yeah.
to remove them.
I would have went before a judge, and I'm scared to even ask about the judicial system down there in Jackson.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we'd have to go federally or Supreme Court-ish.
Department of Justice is who he's going to be contacting or contacted pertaining to the investigation of this situation, because this is, to me, high level. It's all the way low level, high level. You know what I'm saying? So you need the Department of Justice, FBI involved, because somebody has to stand account for what happened down there.
Exactly. This is This is wrong. There's no right way to do any of this.
Yeah.
First of all, they didn't go and notify anyone that they found their loved ones, even though they knew half the time that they already had them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's as simple as a phone call or a knock on the door or a letter in the mail.
But that's the point. I think that's the point. These were people who they did not, whomever's in charge of this the secret society, because I'm going to say secret society, this gentleman's club, and there are no gentlemen, they did not want to do the footwork to go notify the family. Now, I'm not going to say that every family, maybe some were notified and they never responded in a diplomatic fashion or a timely fashion. And so they said the hell with it. I don't know. But hundreds of bodies, you can't even understand it. It's ridiculous.
There is no justification for what they did, because no matter what.
I think it's a county jail, Shirley.
They should have at least found a way to notify folks and say, look, we have so-and-so, and are y'all able to afford it? If not, we will do the pauper burial.
Cole Hunter, I don't know how many are black or white. I don't care. So don't come in the chat with that nonsense. Because they didn't stipulate how many were white and how many were black.
It doesn't matter.
They haven't even told the demographic of how many were found in there. We've just showed content that a white man was found in there. So get on with all that nonsense.
Yeah. None of that matters. The fact is, these are people, and their loved ones had the right to grieve and do the process if they were able to. But they were not given that chance. So,
well, what's going to happen
Lord
now?
have mercy.
Well, what's going to happen now?
I don't know, but they're going to have to do something, because environmentally, that could be bad.
Cole Hunter, kiss my black ass. How about that?
Yeah, he's been acting a fool all evening. I've been reporting his little.
I don't care nothing about what you're talking about.
But like environmentally, that's got to be bad.
I mean, wide open. Just threw them in there. No casket, no box, no nothing. Not even a plastic bag, tarp, or anything.
I know, right? It doesn't matter if these people were criminals, what they did in their life. This is wrong. This is so wrong.
And I think that's the mentality. Not just that if there were criminals or not. You're still talking about 200 or more guys being criminals. Come on. You know, out of those guys that died, there's probably a few that had not been arrested. We don't know, because ain't nobody pulled them up to identify them.
Yeah.
So you can't say they were all criminals. You can't say they were all black, because they're buried.
Well, that's why I say
somebody's got to pull them up to see if they're black, white, Indian, or whatever. So I'm not here to talk about what it's about, because I don't know what the hell's going on down there, and I ain't going to sit here and argue with no buffoon about some dead men in a shallow grave. That ain't my type of hype.
It doesn't matter their color. It doesn't matter their religion.
I ain't gonna bite my tongue. This is mine. I built this. This is my playhouse, baby. I built this from the ground up with one viewer at a time. So wrong is wrong. You do not throw a human being out in the dirt. Okay? They don't put serial killers down in the dirt. So why should these guys be put down in the dirt? This is ridiculous. Sorry, my camera's blinking in and out.
Exactly. I agree with you. It doesn't matter who they were, what they did. What matters is this is wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
And somebody needs to account for it, and these bodies need to be properly taken care of.
But guess what? But guess what? Who's getting ready to dig them up? Ding! Who's getting ready to dig them up? Yeah. I don't know why this camera keeps blinking in and out. It's crazy.
It's haunted.
What did you say?
I said your camera's haunted.
I don't know, because my lighting has something to do. They said the maintenance guy said something about using the LED bulbs in the one lamp while it keeps blinking when the computer's plugged in. So I unplugged the computer just now and it's still blinking. So it's like, what? I don't know what is the problem. You know, stuff only goes awry when I talk about dead people. Have you noticed?
Yes. That's
every time I go live and I talk about somebody dead, especially when I talk about Summer Wells, I'm tripping over shit. Shit's falling down. It's like paranormal activity in here. It's the weirdest thing. It's like the world is saying, quit talking about those dead people. You won't have these problems.
Priest to come and bless your house.
Oh, let me tell you this, just to jump off subject, because we do this a lot.
Yeah.
The other night I was watching I don't know how The Exorcist. It was a TV show. Honey, I hurry up and turn that mess off. I said, you know what? I don't know how anybody can make The Exorcist into a TV show. You know, I'm a 2-hour type girl. I want the movie under an hour and 40 minutes. I do not want, long-winded movie. So it was weird trying to watch a TV show about, demons. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I didn't finish it. Hell, I might have fell asleep on it. I don't know. But I ain't getting ready to watch episode about demonic possession. No, thank you.
Lord have mercy. You are opening the door for what? God knows what.
Say what? Asking for the lottery. Asking for the lottery numbers quick. Oh, yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Well, you could do the old Indian thing and bless your house with burning sage.
Oh, you're so funny.
It'll clear the negative energy out. They say it will. I don't know if it really works or not.
Yes, dude. Exactly. They're human beings. That's the point.
Yeah.
And nobody deserves to be just thrown out like trash into a shallow grave without being embalmed, without somebody claiming the body. There are going to be many people who are going to pass away and not be claimed by family members, whomever. But the point is, I don't believe these, the medical examiner, whoever, the coroner, let's say the coroner, the police department of Jackson, I don't believe they did due diligence by going out to try to find the family members of these people. That's what I think. Because you don't get this many people buried in a jailhouse, because this is basically what this is, a jailhouse burial. And I also want to know this, why did they choose behind the jail? I'm going to let you answer that.
No one's going to look behind the jail.
Try again.
That's where they can get the inmates to do what they need them to do and nobody sees.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you there's not proper paperwork on these folks.
They realize we've got the easy method to not do the footwork. We put them behind the jail. We get the inmates to bury them. They ain't going to say nothing. When we already know people talk in jail, I don't know how in the world you thought this golden secret was not going to get out. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah. But what I'm also saying is, I bet they did not do autopsies. There's no proper paperwork. It takes months to get proper paperwork when someone passes away through a funeral home.
Mm-hmm. Carla has a good point. I'm surprised there was even a marker.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, they have to have a marker. They'll dig up someone else to put someone in. I bet there's a logbook somewhere that says a number and where each plot is, so they don't dig up the person again.
Well, how about this? What difference does it make? What if you find out there's 3 or 4 in one? Because let's think about it. What you're not doing, they're not following protocol anyway. So how do we know that in one grave, there's not 2 or 3 people in there? You got to be realistic, because it looks like you've been doing this for some years. You can't sit here and think, oh, they're only going to put one person in one grave. You're not following appropriate protocol anyway by notifying the family. So for all I know, it might be 5, 6 people in one hole.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, in a proper setting, they have a plots where, they identify which plot is already used and move on to the next one. But
Random
that's not
says,
enough
yeah,
proof.
that could be grave number only. My gosh. What do you mean, Random? Just a grave number? What are you saying? Shirley says the markers remind me of prison graveyard. Well, that's what I thought it was. When I first heard that this was going on, I said, oh, that must be the inmates who weren't claimed. That's exactly what I thought. These guys families were notified, or whomever was in charge couldn't find somebody to claim the bodies, so they just threw them back there. That's exactly what I thought this was about. But when you start talking about higher numbers, and then they had personal effects on them, which means they were living free, they weren't incarcerated. Now you're talking about a totally different ballgame. You're now talking about a real serious problem. Okay, yeah. This is serious. When you start talking about they got keys and wallets on them.
Yeah, they were walking free. They weren't incarcerated.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying about the markers. No, the markers only started at 1, but all the previous ones are in mark. The markers are burial plots, not single people. JJ says, but they are stacked. Okay. Just a marker to locate, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one person buried per marker. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, the gist of that is that they didn't bury them 6 feet down to where you could keep throwing more and let it stack up to 6 feet. So if the vultures are flying above, that means the burials are not 6 feet down. You understand? So you're not going to be able to stack too many bodies if the grave is shallow. And they said crows and things were flying, so that led us to believe these were shallow graves. So you're not going to have a bunch of people in one grave just because the graves are shallow, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's disgusting.
Yeah, something needs to be done, and I'm surprised that jail is even still open.
Well, this is what I would listen to. Let me tell you this. Imagine being in the jail, being one of the workers that's been doing the burial, plus being someone in the jail as an inmate. You would have to be very fearful for your safety to think, I would not want to be in this jail because I don't know if I say or do the wrong thing, I'll end up back there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't get out when it's time for me to be released. These son of a bitches find a way to knock me off and throw me back there. And my family don't know nothing. My family starts asking questions and then they say, oh, we let him go 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago. See where I'm going?
Yeah, or he died in the jail, so we just buried him. Because we're not about to notify folks either.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. How deep of a conspiracy is this going? Because you can't explain random people in the city dying and you deciding to bury them behind that jail. One, why did you choose that jail? Who's orchestrating the deaths to be put behind that jail? And what is the protocol for the people who die in the jail? See, this is bigger than just one person.
Yeah.
Because Jackson is small. Somebody knows. There's a whole lot of somebodies that know about what the fuck has been going on with this jail and burying these people. And you can best believe ain't no one person knew about this. I got a feeling this is one of those town whispering secrets.
Yeah. Which is even worse because then that brings up what else have they been doing?
Shirley, they got to dig them up, honey. The bodies have to be dug up because the secret is out. So they have to be dug up. They have to be dug up. They have to be fingerprinted. That's just the way it is. You can't leave them down there. All the bodies have to be exhumed and have to be fingerprinted to run to see if they got any records so they can be identified. That's it. So the same inmates, they'll probably use them still. I don't know. But if this is governmental higher ups, such as FBI, Department of Justice, they'll probably bring in their own team and they will exhume the bodies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They will not use the prison inmates because that wouldn't be right.
No. It'll be an investigation done by higher ups from other places. Because I would say this could be federal. This should be federal.
Yeah, because it's inhumane what they're doing. JJ says, well, that's going to cost. Who cares? I don't care. I don't give a damn what it costs. Because that's not what you do to people. You just don't throw people out like that. You just throw people out like trash. Okay, even the state buries you. I would assume they put you in a damn pine box if nobody claims you. Right now, if one of you in the chat dies and your family doesn't claim you, the state is supposed to wait a certain amount of time and bury you. Okay? And I don't want to believe the state is going to go take you and just throw you in a shallow grave. Come on now. This is crazy.
Insanity.
If they receive federal money, it should be a DOJ investigation. If they receive federal money. Well, the point is, it doesn't matter where the money is coming from, everybody. Come on now. It doesn't matter where the money is coming from. The point is, the people have to be dug up. The people have to be identified.
Yeah.
That's it. So whether it's the state, whether it's federal, the Martians, I don't give a damn. You all stop getting technical, okay? It doesn't matter where the money is coming from. These people have to be identified. That's just the bottom line.
Let's remember the government will print money without having backing for that money, so it's okay.
And see, I was thinking to myself about that money situation. That's kind of jumping off subject, but I was always wondering why we keep talking about we're in debt. You own the country, you run the country. Why can't you just print the damn money and keep it moving? I don't understand. Is there a protocol to printing money? I don't know.
I don't know all that, but I know that our government is wasting money on so many things.
Well, welcome to America.
Let's waste a little more to help put these people properly buried.
Look, I almost said something that's derogatory, so let me shut up. It was an old Cat Williams joke that I can't say on the live. But anyway, somebody that watches Cat Williams, they probably know what I'm saying. Welcome to such and such dumb.
No, don't bring that up.
Yeah. Well, what I'm wondering is, kind of like our situations with the children and the DHS, who's going to actually stand account for what has happened down there?
That's what I want to know, because no coroner in their right mind signed off for this.
Well, you heard what that guy said, and I don't know if he knows what he's talking about, but he said, oh, it's the coroner that notifies the next of kin. But we know that the coroner, when does the coroner show up at your house to tell you that your mom or dad died?
Never.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the police or the state police or...
Lang Doon says it's criminal behavior and abuse of a corpse, what they have been doing to these men. Yes.
Yeah, but see, the government will put it off as either the warden of the jail or the inmates.
Shirley, please.
They're going to throw those poor folks under the bus.
Shirley says, how long has the jail been there? Because they could have put the jail over some of the graves, which, you know, Indians believe you don't do that. And because I got a little story about the Indians. But anyway, a very good question. I don't know if this was an old burial place and they just going back to old practices. But my understanding is that the grave itself, plural, the graves, have been back there since 2016, allegedly. So I don't know where they're getting that information from. See, all this is disturbing, because it's like, well, how do you know how long they've been putting the bodies back there? So that means somebody's talking, somebody's a whistleblower. That's the only way you can describe the situation. Somebody decided to say, I'm getting ready to come forward and tell the truth about what the fuck they've been doing back there behind that jail, because how are you going to get a date unless the IDs go back to 16? Oh my God, I just thought about that. What if somebody's been down there with an ID? Oh my God, from like 2014 or 12, you know, because you get a driver license. How many years per driver license? It's about what? 5, 6 years? 6 years? 7? So imagine 16, subtract that from what? 7, that would be 09.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, if they were doing this, they had to either be getting rid of the people's personal possessions or burying them with them.
But they were found with, some did have their wallets. So that's how we knew that these weren't inmates. Inmates don't have wallets.
Yeah.
Inmates don't have wallets. Inmates don't have iPhones and cell phones. Okay. So
that might be the only way to ID them then.
You can, well, listen. You can ID them from fingerprints if they still got some skin on them.
As long as they've been down there, decomposition, they weren't properly embalmed, they weren't properly placed. Oof, and that smell. Lord, we're back on that smell.
Girl, if you don't get out of here trying to tell Queen what to do. Me and my guy, we got to understand it. If he worried about what I'm saying, trust me, he'll handle Queen. Damn nuts. Elle says, that's my point. It's been going on since time immemorial, but only markers put up recently. Well, what's going to be baffling is if we find out this BS has been going on before 2016, because 8 years to me is long. It's still too long. If you do it all in 1 week, it's ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying? So 1 week, 5 weeks, 3 years, what's the difference? It's wrong. That's not how we bury our dead. We don't just throw the dead out in shallow graves with no box. No casket, no box. Come on now.
No, because when you started talking, I was thinking about the Colorado thing with the.
Oh, and you know that was coming up when I was doing my research for this live stream tonight. All of those people in that building, and I'm sitting here telling myself, with that situation, all those people going through town, you didn't smell nothing coming from that building? Come on now. They probably had one stoplight in the town, if that. And you don't smell decaying corpses coming from that building.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Death certificates? Of course not. Why would they be a death certificate if I threw you in a hole? I didn't notify anybody. So there's not going to be a death certificate. There's not going to be an announcement. There's not going to be nothing. You're just going to sit. You're just going to sit and wonder where your loved one is.
Yep. No autopsy, nothing, because it's cheaper just to throw you in a hole and call it a day, and hope that nobody comes asking or looking for you. And even if they do,
but that's where they foolishly messed up. Is to think these guys were not important enough to have somebody look for them, care for them, ask questions. Hey, I'm looking for my brother. Hey, I'm looking for my husband. Hey, I'm looking for my father. I haven't talked to my father. He usually calls me, once a week, twice a week, or I call him. See, that's what they underestimated. That they thought these were poor people, that nobody gave a fuck about them, and nobody was going to ask the right questions. Hey, I'm looking for my daddy. I'm looking for my brother. They just thought, oh, well, they're on drugs, they're poor, nobody cares about them. How the fuck could you have that type of attitude? I don't care for people that use drugs, but the point is, if they pass away, they deserve to be buried properly if somebody can afford to bury them.
Yes.
Whether they can find a pine box, a cardboard box, whatever. You deserve to be in a box and put in the ground. That's what we've been doing for years in America. That's what we do. We bury the dead. We don't throw them out. So let's ask this question. Were they naked?
Hopefully not, but probably, because clothes don't disintegrate like.
Shirley, what are you talking about? Hamburger Helper was stuck in my memory. What the fuck are you all talking about, Hamburger Helper?
Because you said the inmates sitting in there eating hamburger helper, and I going, it must be the hamburger helper that smells.
I'm your mama too. How about that? What did I say about the hamburger helper?
You said something about the inmates sitting in there going, what is that smell? One would say, you know.
Oh, I made a joke about the hamburger helper. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. Because I was looking in the chat like, what the hell are they talking about? Hamburger helper? What the hell? But you understand what I'm saying? Somebody had to be walking in this jail for years saying, you know, what is this smell I'm smelling? And somebody probably replied, oh, you know, we're having hamburger helper, or we're having, you know, steak, something. And in your mind, you're thinking, nah, that don't smell like no hamburger helper.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say. If that is like the backyard of that jail, Lord have mercy.
Shirley, that's what I've done a video on that. If you all want to check out that video in Colorado about the people buried in that building, all those hundreds of bodies, please go in the YouTube queue and check out my video. I have a video pertaining to that case. I do have a video about that white couple. They found them in Oklahoma, arrested them. I believe they're out on bond, and they have that case is just ridiculous too. They're offering, you know, when you go to the website, they're offering this, you know, natural alternative to burying your loved one. Well, the part they left out is at some point we got tired of doing the right thing, and we just threw your loved ones in a room and pretended to give you cremation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The remains in an urn.
And the craziest part is, if you cannot afford a proper burial, you can always cremate your loved one.
It's a hamburger helper. It's just ground beef with noodles. That's all. Somebody says, imagine the only view of the outside world being that graveyard. Said, what, honey? Imagine the only view of outside world being that graveyard. Oh, for the inmates? Well, let's ask that. Does any window, because a lot of times when you're in jail, you don't get a view of nothing, no way. It's just concrete blocks all the way around. There's no windows for you to look out. The windows are usually high. You couldn't look out of them anyway. So let's ask that. Did the guys, the jail cells, have windows to face the graveyard? Now imagine that.
I hope not.
Oh, wow.
I hope not.
I got you, Random. Mixed, I got to remember which city it's in, Colorado. I can't think, it's on the tip of my tongue. You got to go in the queue and check my video out about that. But the couple, it's a white couple. It's a family business. They were offering alternative burial services to people. At some point, you know, they got good reviews about burying the dead, and then something went terribly, terribly wrong. They started doing things they didn't have any business. They didn't apply for their license at one point to continue, you know, burying the dead. You just have to Google the information, and you'll hear they weren't following the appropriate protocol to bury the dead. They stopped doing what they had to do. Basically, they were operating first without a legal license to bury the dead, okay? And then they stopped cremation services and all of that. They just start stacking the bodies up in this damn building in the middle of town. The shit is crazy.
And I think it was, they were found out because they didn't pay their bills and got...
And then they weren't turning the remains. But they weren't giving the remains to the people. You know how you're calling saying, hey, I need the urn. And you keep giving excuses.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't even get the urns with the cremations.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, she's got Wind chimes blowing in the background.
Oh no, that's my coffee maker.
Oh, your coffee maker? Yeah, you got too much going on every time I call you. You outside with the wind chimes then. Now your coffee maker squeaking. What the hell's going on over there in North Carolina, girl? So listen to that. Carla said, what's that squeaking? It ain't in Queen's house. I don't know why I'm streaming from the phone today, but I don't know why it keeps blinking on, up. The light goes up, down. I'm sorry about this. I apologize because I don't know. It's something about this place. I mean, that's why I want to get the hell out of here. It's like, this place is haunted. I almost cussed. It's just like the son of a bitch that owns it. This is what happens when you have crooked people. You're renting from crooks. You're renting from crooks. I'm waiting for Michael Jackson to start walking, running around here. Start doing damn cartwheels in this damn place.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Hell no, I'm not okay. I need a damn lottery ticket. ASAP. Shit. You damn right I didn't want to watch it. Shit. That damn Exorcist, I said the hell with this. Hell, the original scares the shit out of me. Excuse my language. Girl, I can't do nothing with no head spinning and beds jumping up and down. I ain't got time for all that. I'm old. Let me tell you what I was thinking. I said, think about all the times you come in and you don't check that living room closet, because it's a whole closet where you could walk in there and hide. You understand what I'm saying? You could go around. It's got like a little short corner, and you could walk in there and hide. I won't even know your ass is in there. You understand what I'm saying? I don't look under the bed when I come in. Just saying. Penrose. Yes, Shirley. That's it.
Well, since you got to talking about that, every time
No
I
mouse.
go in the driveway, I'm looking on the porch and looking to see if there's anything out of place, even before I walk in the house now.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Oh, 2:15 a.m. Where are you, Craig? 2:15. What time is it here? What time is it? Let me check my computer.
9:12.
And he's 2 a.m., so 9 to 12 is 3, 5 hours ahead. He must be in the UK.
I was gonna say UK or across the across somewhere, or Australia maybe.
Craig, where are you? Oh, Glasgow, Scotland. Wow. Oh. Oh. You make my heart go pitter patter.
I know, thinking about.
I love it because, honey, I love the British, the Scottish, the Irish. I do. Oh, honey, Queen loves the UK. Because I tell myself I cannot wait to go to the UK. He says, I'm in Worcester. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Elle. Thank you for all my friends in the UK, because I do have people. Nubian, she usually falls in here. She's in the UK. You know, I would love to go to London. And you know, I love anything about my British people, my UK friends. I love watching my British mysteries. They're the most interesting to me, the British mysteries. I'd like to watch a British mystery before I watch an American mystery any day.
Yeah.
Because they don't sugarcoat stuff in their content over in the UK. So that's why I've always liked watching the British mysteries and things, or foreign mysteries, because they say what they want. They might have a little nudity in there. You know, in America, they have to, you know what I'm saying? What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, everything's censored here.
It was censored, yeah, until we do all the premium channels. So good night, sweetheart. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for joining us. And Lane's in London. So we've got the Scottish here. Wonderful. We've got Lane in London. Hyacinth is Scottish, Irish. Okay. Stardust is Scotland? What? You never told me that. Since I can't watch scary movies, I would have every light on in the house and my cast iron skillets ready. Well, don't turn them damn skillets up. Well, you can't turn them iron skillets up. No way. You can't. You can't break them damn skillets. You hear me? You can't turn them up for nothing.
No, you can't.
Now, if you break one, somebody's going to ask, how'd you break that skillet? I beat that burglar coming in here. I beat him upside the head. And if you beat somebody right now with an iron skillet, I still don't see it breaking.
One of my neighbors caught someone climbing through her doggy door.
You can reach me on IG. Postal address. You know I'm not going to give you my address on no damn live stream. What the hell? I don't need y'all stalking me. I got enough problems. But you can reach
the queen in the news.
Yes, we don't. But you can reach the queen on IG anytime at Big Sexy 71.71. You can reach me there to message me personally if you like.
Because if y'all get the queen's mailing address, I have to send her some iron skillets.
You ain't gonna send me no damn iron skillets because I'm not getting ready to store them damn things in no damn bottom of the stove. You know how heavy iron skillets, so I'm not getting ready to lift nothing heavy. Did you hear what I said? I'm not getting ready to pick up nothing heavy.
It will deter a burglar.
You want to send me something from the UK? Oh, that's so sweet of you. Oh, you're so sweet. What are you trying to send me? First, I gotta ask. Shit, you might want to send me some cyanide. I'm just playing. Look, I need your full name and address, social. In my opinion, I'm kidding. I ain't getting ready to put that up here. Shit. What the hell I would? I got enough going on. I am not an open book. Let me tell you that. I talk enough up here on this jukebox. That's it. Big Sexy .71 on IG. If you want to contact me, that's how I'm talking to Miss Hagan.
Yes.
We're talking through IG right now. Tomorrow, you can come up on the panel. So we won't be doing this anymore. We will be doing the live stream starting tomorrow. You'll be able to hit the link in the chat and come up. You can show yourself, not show yourself. We're going back to the live stream starting tomorrow. Have a good night, sweetheart. Thank you. Well, what else you got to add? Okay, let's go back to the young boy. You're welcome, sweetie. Thank you for joining me. The dreadlock situation. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I want to know how many black kids are in that school. Second of all, why are we targeting a boy that looks well kept and his mother or guardian takes enough time to plait, braid, do whatever they need to do to his hair? So it's not like he's not bathing or being clean about it. And even in that article, it said even after they got rid of the dreadlocks and they braided his hair, they still had a problem.
Well, the school is saying it's not the style. It's not the dreadlocks itself. That's why he's not coming back to school. It's because we have a policy about the length. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
After they braided it, they still had a problem with him.
Well, I understand he put it back. That's what he did. So it's behind the ear and put up. What they're saying is, I guess still, we know that it's longer. We can tell that it's longer. That's what they're saying. I mean, I don't know else how to word it. That's their claim. Yeah. We still know that it's long and he ain't cut it. He's not cut it. He's not cut it at ear length. So what I'm afraid of is the obvious. You're hindering his growth as a kid. He's going to be coming out of school here shortly. He's probably vindictive. He's probably mad at the world. That will mess with his disposition. And then he'll probably have an issue with the school. I don't know if the school is mostly Hispanic, black, white, whatever. You don't want to start tarnishing a person's, disposition especially this late in life. He's like, what, 16, 17 years old. So you're now messing with a person's disposition. This is what you don't want. You understand what I'm saying? You don't want to be messing with somebody's head this late in the game before becoming a legal adult. And that's what I'm worried about, is that he's going to become vindictive, start lashing out, start getting into trouble because he can't go be with his peers in school. He can't function to, do the things they do in school. This is a pivotal time for a child, 16 years of age. This is when you're having fun. You're going to parties, functions. You're going to proms. He's missing all of that because we don't even really know what type of alternative program that he's in. Yeah. See, we don't even know if it's a part of the school that he's not in, or is it a totally different program out of this jurisdiction? See, we don't know. I don't know. What I'm saying is, don't push this kid to where he starts to become a fucking problem.
Exactly.
Because he could become a problem. Well, I can't hang with my friends. I can't go to school. I can't play football, soccer, basketball. So he will start to do other things that he ain't got no damn business. That's what I'm concerned about. Because it looks like,
Because that's what I was going to say. Why bother him? At least he's showing up and going to school. I mean, this day and age, that's a plus in itself. There's no sense in what they're doing. None whatsoever.
Well, let's be logistical. The policy says no hair for boys past the ear. So that'd be your earlobes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If that's their policy, that's their business. You either abide by it or you don't. So what I want to know, did the mother read the school handbook to see that the policy says no hair past the earlobes? Because if she read that, she should have told herself, well, this school isn't for my son because my son has hair past the earlobes, and I'm not going to make him cut it, and he shouldn't have to cut his hair just to go to this school. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when they first confronted her, she should have told herself, I'm not even going to argue with these MFs. I'll take my baby out of here and put my baby in a school where he could be himself and wear his hair how the hell he wants to wear. I wouldn't even argue with them. That's why I'm saying, did she read the policy? Did they talk to her and all the parents? Did they send memos out of the protocol for the handbook of how they're supposed to dress, how they're supposed to behave? That's what you got to ask yourself. Was she notified of what the child was supposed to do and not do?
I would say they sent a handbook because they do for my daughter. I'm supposed to read the handbook and sign a piece of paper at the back of the handbook and send that piece of paper back in saying that I've read the handbook and I understand all the rules.
Okay.
Half the time I don't read the handbook because it's the same every year.
Well,
for the most part.
So let me ask you this. Do you think the mother, she read the handbook, she read the instructions, and she defied the instructions and sent her child to the school any damn way with the longer hair?
Defied the instructions, maybe, or maybe it was a misunderstanding on her part, or she didn't read the book at all. Or she glazed over it and was like, okay, and signed the paper and sent it back.
Okay.
But what they're going after shouldn't be what they're going after. They should be more after the fact of, the scores, the kids going.
Well, but see, then somebody will say, well, then that doesn't make sense, because if you're going to have policies for how the children are supposed to dress, because naturally they're wearing uniforms. I think they wore uniforms. So they have a policy. They have a policy of, how you're supposed to look, your hair, your clothes. We're wearing a certain type of uniform. So naturally that's going to be shoes, socks, pants, jackets, coats, sweaters, all of that. And if it doesn't fit to what they have in the handbook, you're in violation. So it ain't gonna just be about the hair. It's gonna be about the uniform itself, pants, shoes. They might say we only want, blue pants, blue shirt, whatever, or khakis, blue shirt. That's what they want you to wear. You can't come in with a t-shirt. You can't come in with a wife beater on.
Well, Well, my next couple questions are, has he been to the school years prior? Did they change the rules? And if that's all the case, most of the kids that have to wear uniforms have to buy their uniforms from certain places with the school emblems on them. So there's no way to, these are the choices these kids have when it comes to clothes, if it's a uniform. And most of that's charter schools. And that would be my next thing. Is he in a private school? Is he in a county school? Is that the only school in their area? Would he have to go out of county? If so, mom would have to pay money for him to go out of county.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or she'd have to cheat and use somebody else's address.
Yeah. And drop him off at someone's house for the bus to pick him up every day.
Yeah.
Or take him to school every day.
And I've seen people do that, drive their children out of jurisdiction to school. I saw that recently, a month ago, somebody driving the boy child to another school because the mother moved. And I thought to myself, who wants to do this every day? Why you can't just move? Why you just can't move him to the school closest to his district? And you understand what I'm saying? The bus lets him out near the apartment. He walks up to the drive to go to the apartment. I don't understand why people, this is what I don't understand about people. People make shit so difficult and they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, a child, his age, he's like what, 6 or 7? This is not a pivotal age like 17, 13, where you've gotten friends, you've made friends. So 7 or 8, they can switch schools. I get it. You don't want to switch kids' schools, but if you know you're moving, your kid has to move schools. That's just a part of life. It's cruel to the kid, but when they're young, like 6 and 7, they can adapt.
Yeah.
They can adapt.
Well, that's why my daughter's in high school. She's a senior this year. I will not move until she just figures out what college she's going to, and then I'll try to get as close to the college.
So what? Hagen,
I gotta take care.
why are you starting this bullshit in this live stream? Now, first you said she was on her own. Is this the same kid you're gonna let live across the yard in the other house?
Yes.
Now you're talking about moving to a whole nother city for her to go away to school. Well, what is you trying to do, damn it?
I don't want to have to take a plane, train, or a bus to get to her or something.
But it's not about you, Hagen.
No, it's about her.
Exactly. So if she decides to go to school in Maine or Idaho or Utah, you just have to have money to fly your tail out there.
Queen, I ain't never got on an airplane.
Well, then you won't be going nowhere then.
If I can't get there in my car, I'm not going.
Okay, well then you ain't gonna be going. Well, so I'm gonna ask this question. Where does she want to go to school?
North Carolina State University.
Well, that's in the state that you in. Jesus wept.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at Yanceyville, North Carolina. It's only an hour and a half away.
You were looking, you ain't the one going to the school.
No.
Hey, are you one of them kind of parents that want to orchestrate everything?
No.
So
no, she does her own thing. She has her job. She does her own thing.
So you will be accepting if she decided she didn't want to go to North Carolina State and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Brooke, stop it.
I'm just not happy with the county I live in. The cops aren't the greatest.
Okay. But this is the thing about life is that you have to let your children grow. You have to let your children fly. And then let them decide when they get to that location, if they like it or not. If you say you're welcome to come back, then you let them know that before they leave.
Yeah.
So they get away, New York, Idaho, it doesn't work out, they can come back, apply to school somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's it. Or they go apply to school closer to home, whichever. But you don't want to make your kids feel obligated to go to school close to the house because you can't accept they're a grown and they want to go off to school. You don't want to do that because then you're hindering your child's growth. You don't want to be that kind of parent.
No. Not at all. I mean, she's a honor roll student. She does so many things with the school. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
She's an awesome kid.
I don't know where all these trolls coming from. I wish y'all find y'all something to do.
I don't know either, but when I'm
It is something about the live stream. They love coming in the live stream. It is the weirdest thing I have seen as of late. They just cannot help themselves. They got to be.
Yeah, but they've been doing it everywhere. You can go.
Well, I don't be on other people's networks, so I don't know.
You can go to the most boring chat in the world and they come in, starting trouble, saying stuff.
Because they don't got nothing better to do. Honey, I've been on my I stay up late this morning. I've been watching all this crazy reality TV. I've been watching this LA hair. I told myself tonight before I went live here, I said, I'm going to cut you heifers off because I'm tired of y'all cussing and fussing in this hair salon. Y'all getting on my damn nerve. I'm going to go to the ATL cutters or somebody else. I'm tired of them heifers in LA. That woman, I don't mean to be mean, but she don't like she knew what she was doing with those her employees. They didn't have no respect for her. They just did what they want, show out, act a fool. And we already know, I'm be truthful, if it was a white salon, I'm not saying you wouldn't have no cattiness or pettiness, but you ain't about to be falling all out on the floor, acting stupid and cutting your smocks, and your ass will be fired. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, that goes against the money situation.
You will be fired.
So people acting a fool everywhere then.
Well, Call of Duty that.
This world has gone crazy.
Well, I'm at 2 hours now. I'm going to ask this question because you basically telling me that the school should let him go. The judge upheld the ruling of the school to deny him to go to school.
The judge upheld the ruling?
Yeah, that was just a day or so ago. Yeah, the judge upheld the ruling for him not to go to school. So that's why I said I'm more concerned about the boy's welfare and his mindset, because we know that children start to act out when things go awry. So that's what I'm more concerned about at this point, is him not navigating properly, not being able to be with his friends. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, not only that, like I said, has he been going to that school? Has he gone there for a couple of years? That kind of thing. Have they changed the rules? And it from the picture, he doesn't look like he's a troublesome child. Because that would be my next question.
Hippie.
Has he been in trouble in school for other things? Is he
Don't address them fools in the chat. Do not address those people in the chat that are not talking about nothing. These are people who should be sewing a quilt or working at a food pantry, helping the homeless. How about that? You understand what I'm saying? Right. Hit the thumbs up.
Cut my grass.
All the trolls in the house, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up.
Exactly. If you're going to be there, that makes it worth our while.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Throw your hands up. Oh! Oh! Hey! Oh! You a troll? Throw your hands up. You a troll? Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. You ain't got a life. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. That's what you need to do. Damn. The hell's going on? Okay, so before we check out of here, Adam Montgomery, because I didn't get to talk to you earlier about that.
Lord have mercy. You know what?
Lord, look, I'm looking at my clock. My clock says 2:03. It's gonna be another hour. It's gonna be damn.
You already
your mama dirty. Y'all don't want me to get nasty now. It's that time of the night. I'll get crunk on you. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Adam Montgomery, he got guilty on all the charges.
Mm-hmm.
I have questions though, and I found it was said, and I don't remember where. I'll have to look back to figure it out. But it was said that, remember that Uncle Kevin you showed last night?
Mm-hmm.
He was seen.
Don't bring that bullshit in here, Hagen. Don't start that shit.
Okay.
Now you gonna start doing that damn conspiracy stuff now.
No.
Yes. Yes. I read your comment in the chat earlier. I saw it. Oh, Lord have mercy.
The only question I got is Kayla going to be, are they going to renege on the deal that they gave her, which I don't even know what the deal is, because it can be proven that she lied because there was no blood found in that car.
Randall said, don't want to meet Beverly. You sure don't want to meet Beverly. Because she's hell on wheels. So go ahead and say what you're going to say, because you know you want to say it. So go and say it, girl.
Oh, about Uncle Kevin. It was said that Uncle Kevin was in the area when that lady OD'd in the motel room. And it was also said that Uncle Kevin was in the area when Adam's dad OD'd. But Uncle Kevin lives in Florida with Grandma.
You don't know that.
That's what's been said.
But that's why I told you, why do y'all listen at that stuff?
But I look at many, many, many things.
Hagen, let me tell you something. You think I ain't figured your ass out since you've been up here talking to me the past couple of weeks? You need to stay out of that gossip meal. Because did you not pay attention to what I showed last night? This fool sat and talked to Banfield in the damn rain. I'm just going to leave that right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about that. You watched the child get beat up. You was in the house while she's getting beat up by her father and Kayla and whoever else. We don't know all the places she lived. We don't know who else could abuse the child. And you wait to call the fucking CPS all of day 30. Come on now. And then you finally go talk to this woman. They also mentioned about the GoFundMe. Okay, that was weird. And it's rain. It's raining. I'm sitting here looking at this fool sitting here talking to her in the damn rain. Who talks to a reporter in the rain?
He's either in a homeless shelter or his house is a mess and he can't. Oh, Lord, and I guess he doesn't own a car either.
Okay. Kung Fu said Uncle Cash.
Yeah, Uncle Cash App. He has a Cash App.
Hey, Kung Fu, please stop. Maybe he knows that motherfucker in New York. Excuse my language.
Yeah. Yes.
He knows.
Drew.
What's his name? Gloversville. What?
Andrew.
Go Andrew. Shit, maybe they bumping.
No,
Listen. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but maybe they bumping tails. Shut your mouth.
I thought about that too. And maybe they related somehow.
Hey. Maybe they bumping nuts. I don't know. Oh, Queen, why you do that? Shut your mouth. Excuse my language. But we know that men go both ways, sideways, when they start getting high.
Yeah.
Start going on the down low, messing with the men's. As old black folks say. Him messing with the men, folk. Him messing with the men's assist. What you say, Grandma? I said the men's assist. You mean men? No, I mean men's assist. Him messing with the men's assist. Damn. Oh, Lord. Let's go there. Let's go into Belly the Beast. I got almost 200 people in the chat. Thank you for following his network. Is he bisexual? Shut your mouth.
Anything is possible.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Where is Michael Jackson when you need him? Dang.
Anything is possible. You just don't know.
Because that girl Tabitha said in the report I read. He came over to her house or something. He was high as a kite. She said he was talking gibberish, and she said that he said, Kayla wants me to sell my body. So she said, that's when I started to think they sold Harmony because I hadn't seen her. So this is, I'm gonna leave that right there.
I don't think they sold that baby.
No, you're not listening. She said he was high talking.
Yeah.
Kayla wants me to sell my body. So she said, I started to wonder if maybe they sold the kid because of what he was saying about Kayla wanting him to sell his body. I think he was telling on himself then that he was probably selling himself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's the old saying, sober thoughts. You understand?
Yes.
Get the fuck out my chat with that bullshit. Look, let me tell y'all something. You're starting to get on my nerve now. You're starting to get on my damn nerve. Get out my chat with that nonsense. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. You're starting to fucking irritate me. Go lay your ass down some damn where. You're starting to piss me off. Go lay your ass down. So who's to say he wasn't selling himself? Many men do that when they get a drug habit, just like women do that to support a drug habit. Many people prostitute to support a drug habit.
Yeah, because once it was found out that Harmony wasn't there, they had to have cut off the benefits.
I get on the treadmill if you ride behind me. How about that? How about that? I get on the treadmill if you get behind me. Or your mama. How about that? Go ahead, finish, baby.
Well, you know, like I said, all their benefits were gone, so their cash cow was gone.
But you don't know when their benefits were cut. You don't know when their benefits were cut off.
No, but they were backed up against the wall.
Yeah, nobody, because you got to remember, nobody knew she was missing. So why would the benefits be cut off? You don't even know that the child's missing. So the benefits wouldn't have been cut off until she got arrested. They got arrested. So you're talking about 2 to 3 years in. That's a long ass time.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why they got caught, because their backs were against the wall. There was no way that they could keep this up because they didn't have a steady place to live.
Well, you can get mail sent somewhere, girl. You know, people have their mail sent to people's addresses in post offices all the time. So you can keep the lie going. Come on now.
Yeah, but they would have had to have shown the kid eventually. And they couldn't do that.
Say what?
I said they would have had to have come up with the kid eventually, and they couldn't do that.
Yeah, but their babies were still babies, Hagen. You're not listening. Their babies were babies. You don't have to provide nothing with a fucking 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Those kids had years before having to go to school. So they had at least 4 years before providing DHS records of enrolling their children.
Well, see, that was my next question. Where are the other 2 kids at now?
I don't know. But when I showed you that video last night of her being arrested, what did you not see? You didn't see any children come out of that man's apartment.
No, none at all.
There were no children coming out of that apartment. So now you got to ask yourself, where were those children when she got arrested that time? You know, because she's been arrested twice. One for the fraud charges and then rearrested for not going to court. I don't know if that video I showed you all was the first arrest or the second arrest. But we do know the second arrest is when she decided to turn on Adam.
Well, I hope to God those boys are not with any of those family members.
Well, somebody in the chat said the grandmother has them. Her mother. I don't know. Myri, listen. Myri says Kayla's mom has them.
Isn't that the lady that had the red cooler?
Yes, Hagen, yes.
Lord have mercy.
Lady Lolo says, wouldn't benefits be cut off if she supposedly moved back in with her mom? What you saying, Lolo? I don't understand what you're saying. Why don't you get some hamburger helper? How about that?
Lord have mercy.
She says she has all 3 of them. Wow, that's deep.
Lord have mercy.
And let me tell you something. Let's talk about that. Imagine Harmony never made it to her house Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving, because I don't know which one is the truth, because this whole trial has me befuddled on who's telling the truth about what. But nonetheless, go check out my other videos on the timeline of when this child was actually unalived. I won't doubt she lied. Kayla lied. And this is not somebody that needs to have nobody's damn kids, because her daughter ended up out here in the street doing God knows what to end up with Adam. So she don't need no damn kids, perhaps. I'm just saying. I'm not here to badmouth the mother, but I got a feeling she lied about seeing Harmony, because we don't have a receipt that the mother saw Harmony Montgomery, and that's just how I feel. Because Kayla has lied. And if you want to check out how I put it all together, you need to go in the queue and check out my videos pertaining to her lying, because she lied. The police did not see that baby November 29th in the car when they had a car wreck. So that means the baby could not have died December 7th. The cop didn't see her November 29th or December 2nd. So how did the baby die 5 days later? Because she was already dead.
That's what befuddles me, because they're still sticking to the December 7th date, and I don't think that's correct. See,
but this is what I want to understand. But this is what I want to understand. Why is she stuck on this December 7th? What is so special about this day? Make me understand. What is it?
I don't know, and I can't figure it out because I'm looking. December 7th means something.
Yeah, it does.
But I don't know what it means. Because I've tried, I've looked. I mean, I'm down to the miles on the bridge.
Somebody says, Queen, YouTube is shadow banning you. I've been on and I showed you were not. I don't understand what you're saying, Gracie. Can you go on the YouTube queue and show I'm on? I can jump out of here. She said YouTube is showing I'm not on.
If she wasn't on, we couldn't see her.
Right, and I couldn't see myself in this phone with your comments.
Yes, exactly.
Damn. She said it didn't show that I was live. That's what she said.
YouTube's been acting up anyway, so.
Yeah, Godric said they can see that I'm on. Reputable says, you got recommended to me and I've never even seen or heard of this channel. You definitely on. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and she gonna get smart and say anyway, well, you can't get an attitude. You came in the chat saying it. Damn. The fuck? You were saying, look, back to you, Rona. Shit.
Okay. December 7th means something to Kayla. I just don't know what it means. I can't figure that out. I don't know if maybe that was the birth date of one of the other children. Or it's a significant date for her, but I don't know what for.
Okay, but let's do this. Adam, in the report I read, he says the baby was unalive December 6th. So what's the significance with a day apart?
I don't.
I left her alone with the kids and she unalived my baby then, which we know that's a lie. I don't think she unalived the kid, but she rode the ride. We will agree to that. So what is going on with this December 7th, now December 6th? when we know the child was not alive?
The only thing that I can come up with is reasonable doubt. If there's enough reasonable doubt, people won't get in trouble.
Kung Fu says it makes it a later date so that the other people living in the house are not co-defendants. Well, they're not co-defendants anyway because they had already moved out from our understanding. So at the end, in that report I read, there was nobody left in the house but Kayla, Adam, and the 3 children. So everybody's already moved out. They were just buying time because obviously they had nowhere to go and they didn't try to go look for nowhere to go. And as I asked earlier in my live stream, did they even try to go find housing somewhere else? Because you've got kids. That's your key to getting housing, is having children. Everybody knows this. You can get a place to stay so long as you have damn children. A single person, it's harder for a single person to get help. But if you got children, somebody's going to help turn on lights, water, gas, whatever.
And in my opinion, I do not believe they went for housing until after their car broke down.
Well, they didn't have no other choice.
Yeah.
They weren't going to be able to keep staying. They weren't going to be able to keep staying in the shelter. Before that, they couldn't keep staying with the mother. So, hell yeah, they had to go find somewhere to live.
Yeah.
Hippie says that was the whole plan, to blame it on someone else. Well, Hippie, but they didn't blame it on someone else. He now has said that Kayla did it. Nobody else was blamed. No babysitter, no Tabitha, no Rivera, nobody else. And you know what? They could have easily done that too. Said, oh, we left our kid and we found her dead. We had words and we carried our dead baby around.
Well, that's kind of what Adam tried to do when he said he took Harmony back to her mom's house.
Okay. Say what now?
I said that's kind of what Adam tried to do when he said Harmony was with her mom.
What do you mean her mom?
Harmony's mom, when he said he delivered her, he took her back to her mom.
Well, yeah, he blamed her too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat says, maybe that is the date she found out she was pregnant with Adam's baby. That's from Shirley Harris.
Ooh,
Lolo says how they pay for everything. Stealing, that's how they pay. Selling the food stamps. Dune says when they were evicted, did the officer say how many kids were present? Damn.
Ooh,
That's a good question. Thank you, Lane Dune. Wow. See, you always miss something. That's why I said you always miss something in a story. Very, very good question. Where is the officer, sheriff that showed up with the detainer warrant to put them out? Very good question. Because that would have told the story right there. How many children came out of the house with Adam and Kayla the day they were evicted from the house? Oh, bravo. Thank you.
Unless they left before their date of...
You're not listening? You're not listening, Hagen? They were evicted by the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
He said it in the report. I'm staying as long as I can.
Yes.
So you think about this. She stopped paying the mortgage, whatever, summer. They didn't get out of there till allegedly November. So that's a long ass time.
Yeah.
And if you don't got nowhere to go, you'd stay in there too. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless you decided you found somewhere else to go. So they obviously didn't have nobody that would take them in, which is sad. But that's their responsibility because they have children. Kayla was lazy. She's an addict. He's an addict. They just did what most addicts do. They use and manipulate people. They had no intention of ever getting out here, having their own place. Who goes through all this trouble carrying a dead body around to only live in a fucking apartment for 1 month? That shows me you never had any intention of ever doing right. You never intended to do right. Gotrick said they saw a few but don't know how many. Well, there weren't but 3 children. So what you mean?
Yeah, there were 2 tiny ones, and there was Harmony. She was tiny too, but she was 5.
A camera at Burger King, it's not going to matter about any cameras in the neighborhood, Burger King, Ross. 2 years went by before the detectives got the story, got the version. So by then, there's no camera footage on city cameras, Walmart, 7-Eleven, whatever. It's too late.
Exactly. And the only thing that they could look at is like a police report where there was an accident or where the sheriff put them out of the house. There would have been notations of how many minor children. And I'm very surprised that the sheriff didn't call.
Well, Godric said he said 2 or 3 on the stand. The state fucked up, really. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, they are.
The state fucked up this case. They did good as far as gathering evidence and the soil stuff in the shelter, because that puts us that the child was dead. She was already dead in the bag. Okay, cool. But a lot of stuff got glazed over in testimony. A lot of testimony was glazed over. The foster care mother's testimony glazed over.
Yes.
The girl who came from the shelter that came to their apartment, her testimony glazed over. Nobody's asking, did you smell something peculiar in the house? To my knowledge, I don't know. I'll stand corrected in this live stream. But that's what I'm going to ask you. If you went to the house of where I think a child was discarded or broke up or dismembered, what did the house look like? What the house smell like? All I heard her say, it was in disarray. I didn't hear that it smelled.
Well, that's what they all said. Even Uncle Kevin on the News Nation, all he would say is it was a mess.
Well, Shirley, she's on drugs. She was no different than Adam. Adam no different than her. Adam no different than Kayla. They were all evenly yoked. I believe that's the reason why he couldn't stand Crystal, because she was a mirror image of himself. Because how can you hate somebody that is just like you? Think about it.
Yeah.
They were the same.
Yeah.
So it was easy to hate her. She's a woman, but she also gets high. She ain't taking care of this kid. I get high. I can't provide for this kid. I'm married to a junkie. They were all the same.
Yeah.
You could cut it any way you want. All 3 evenly yoked. Neglectful, drug users. Their only priority in life was getting high. You look at Kayla's mugshot, it tells the story. She doesn't even look nothing like that person in that mugshot right now.
But I do believe Kayla should have got the same time Adam gets.
Well, what I'd like to know is if anything's going to change now, since it's come out about the cop, because you can't deny what the cop said.
Yes.
And I don't believe he lied.
No, he had no reason to lie.
He had no reason to lie.
He was just reporting on an accident.
And 2 times in 2 weeks, in 1 week, that's why he said I remembered him. Because it was November 29th, he's wrecked the car. I go back to a scene days later, it's Adam Montgomery and Kayla only. No kids. So no kids on December 2nd, no Harmony on November 29th. So that means Harmony was already dead November 29th. So she didn't die December 7th. She didn't die December 6th. Why are these motherfuckers lying about the date? Excuse my language. I'm trying to understand this. What is significant about December 7th? What?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out too, but I don't know.
Shirley says, I hope they charge Kayla. Yes, Kayla needs to go down because she lied. She lied to the grand jury a while ago. She lied in court 2 weeks ago. She needs to go down with Adam Montgomery. She did not tell the whole truth during court. She did not.
And the evidence that would get her is the fact that there was no blood found in that car.
So let's go here then. if there was no blood found in the car, then was it on the seat and was the seat removed?
That would be hard to do.
You can remove a seat, girl.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can remove a seat, but you're going to have to replace it.
I don't have to replace not Hagen? Seriously?
There was a seat in that car because they had car seats in that car.
And that's why I said, and that's why I asked all the questions earlier. What was removed? Portion of the seat? You cut out the fabric? What? Because I'm not getting an understanding.
I had not seen the interior of that car. I've only seen the exterior. So I don't know.
The social worker came out from July up until October.
I don't think the caseworker ever said what date in October he came, did he?
No. That's probably where this October mess is coming from. That's the last time the social worker saw her.
Well, that's why I'm taking from October to sometime in November. She was unalived and she was in the blue Under Armour bag in the trunk when they got in that car accident. She was later put in the CMC bag.
What are you trying to say?
If you go back and look at the report, it says she was in a blue Under Armour duffel bag.
When?
Before.
Yeah, we knew she was put in the bag because they had to carry her some type of way from the car that allegedly broke down.
The broke down car. She was in the duffel bag until the broke down car because they couldn't get the trunk open. So they popped the middle seat down and pulled her out in the duffel bag and carried her on.
But it's just like what the defense said. She'd been in the bag, and I believe that. I believe
that, but I think they put her in the CMC bag later.
Well, they had to do that because of the shit that went down at the shelter.
Yeah.
That's where the shelter comes in the CMC bag. The smell, they got to get her out the room. So that's where the CMC bag comes in.
Well, what I'm saying is where Kayla says that he folded her up and put her in the bag. Shirley's saying, he removed the seat because the trunk would not open. So, okay. So it's messed up the trunk. Okay. But what I'm saying is, what is the significance of December 7th? The cop has proven the girl's been dead. She's been dead before December 7th. I don't understand why the state is not acknowledging that. They did not acknowledge that during trial. This is a problem. Because this goes to show she has lied to the grand jury. She's lied again to the court. Well, see, that's where I bring in the fact of whatever deal she made the deal on the premise that she was going to tell the truth. Now that we can debunk that she has not told the truth.
What about food stamps, Stardust? What are you trying to say? What about food stamps? Somebody said they showed the interior on the stand, didn't they? I don't know. I didn't watch all of the trial. But the defense said there was no blood found in the car. Doors, console, none of that. So that's why I asked, did they cut a piece of the chair out, the back seat? You can still have the fucking seat back there, but you cut the fabric where there would be blood. That's what I'm asking. Did they cut the seat?
Well, see, I didn't see the interior of that car. But I do, from everything that I've watched, the only time that anything was found of Harmony was in the trunk.
Right. Blood spots and the toothbrush.
And the DNA on the toothbrush.
The CMC bag is a medical bag, Lolo. It's like a little canvas bag. That's what she was stuffed in at a shelter when the information got out that there was a smell in their dorm room.
It was a canvas bag.
It's a medical bag they give you from the hospital.
Yeah. That came in later, but the blue armored duffel bag was the first bag. Well, that we know of.
She's been dead. I believe that. And I found it interesting that the defense would say that. I found it very interesting. She said she was dead when you were at that stoplight and the car broke down. She said that's why you just pulled that bag through that hole and gathered up that bag and went on over to Badero. Bam.
There were times she didn't make sense, but there were times.
Exactly,
like, oh
exactly. She talked a lot of bullshit, that lawyer. But when she said that about that damn bag, my hair, all the gray went straight up. I said, holy shit. This lady is telling the truth.
When I was watching,
that's the only thing she said that was the truth out that whole damn testimony, that whole damn closing argument.
There were times I was screaming at the TV going, this lady
yes, Shirley.
is bonkers. And
yes.
other times I was like, she got it.
Yes, Shirley. Yes, Shirley. They unalived her at the house. They realized the sheriff was going to eventually come to put them out.
Yeah.
Harmony is a third wheel. She's baggage. She's too much to carry on. We've got 2 kids to take care of. We don't have nowhere to stay. We're addicts. We're thieves. We don't need an extra kid with us. It's too much work. They killed her at that house.
Yes.
They didn't kill her in the car.
No.
They killed her at the house. They probably stuffed her in a tub up until the day the sheriff walked in. They grabbed that bag first with her in it or whatever, and they left out of there with a dead kid in that damn bag.
Yes.
She's probably dead in that house. And that's even scarier because they probably thought, fuck this. We already getting evicted. Here comes the social worker. He keeps coming back and forth. I'm sick of this shit. Let's kill this kid and be done with it. We got to get out of here anyway. It's really the perfect setup if you pay attention. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect setup.
I mean, that's like in the West case when they moved from Bakersfield to that other place. When they move, nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows how many kids they have.
Exactly.
And with that,
but he made sure
they couldn't be easily located.
But he made sure to tell anybody that knew them, Harmony's with the mother.
Exactly. To make it look kosher.
Exactly. Because they knew he had Harmony. So that's the gist of the story. I'm only going to tell the people that knew I had Harmony that I sent her back to her mother. Because they knew I had her and they saw her and babysat her. So that's why it looks like it was probably deliberate. It's probably first-degree murder, not second-degree.
Yes.
She was killed deliberately.
Yes.
There's no peeing, no boo-booing, and all that old bullshit. They got rid of her because it was too much to be carrying around 3 kids, knowing we're going to be evicted from this house, knowing we ain't got nowhere to go. We ain't out here trying to find no damn where to go. We'll kill her, keep getting the benefits, food stamps, this and that, Social Security check, whatever the hell they were getting for her. Nobody will never know the truth. Nobody will find us because we're going to be living here to there. It was the perfect setup, them getting evicted out that house to get rid of Harmony Montgomery.
Yes, it was.
Well, Teresa, I've said that 1,000 times. But why give her back when I can get money off of her? When I can keep getting a welfare check or food stamps and the hustle. The girl got $1,000 in food stamps. That's a lot of fucking food stamps a month. That's $500+ on the street. If they sold the whole food stamp card, that's $500 cash, half. Because you sell the food stamps half of what the value is. So imagine giving that card to somebody, giving somebody that card and getting $500+ damn dollars.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
And that's also why if you watch the Kayla thing, there were times she would say, I don't remember, or she'd say, I didn't look at her, I just threw the sandwich at her.
Mm-hmm. That's why you know she's lied. That's how I knew she was lying. And everything pertaining to her not remembering is because it's something she saw or did with a person she didn't want to implicate in the story.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. They
And
talked to more people. Trust me,
When
there's
she
more
said
people in this story than what you've heard. That's why she don't have a memory of what happened before they got to the light and the car broke down. Because they were probably running drugs or doing something with somebody, and she didn't want to implicate them in the story and have them come to court to testify. The least amount of people I put in the story are the least amount of people that could testify against me and say bad things about me. I read that heifer like a book.
Yes.
I read her like a book. She remembers everything that happened. Because it makes no sense. 709, you can remember that. Peeing, boo-boo, and all this stuff up until Burger King. But then when you get to the stoplight, you don't remember where you're going. That's bullshit. She knew exactly where they were going.
Yes. I also believe the drug dealer when he said that he did not see Harmony because he took them his Thanksgiving leftovers Thanksgiving night. So they did not go to grandma's for Thanksgiving.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And the cop and the defense says she went to the mother's the 29th. Well, that's Friday after Thanksgiving. So you all were in a car without Harmony on the 29th because the cop testified to that. So where was Harmony and how would the mother have seen her on the 29th if the cop didn't see her in the car? So why would you go let somebody else, listen, why would you go let somebody else keep the little girl but not keep the other two kids?
Well, then the question stands, okay, it's a Chrysler Sebring. You have 3 adults and 2 children in car seats in that car. It's pretty packed. Where are you going to put a 3rd child?
Somebody said Travis' girlfriend got the hotel room. Did you notice her lie? What do you mean? What do you mean, Teresa? Well, Gracie says, so if he used the power saw, they had to run the generator for a lot of things. Well, maybe. I don't know. But we know he didn't chop her up at the house. That we know. Because that's been proven with going to the shelter, moving into the apartment, still him carrying her around. She was still whole. She was still whole for months. She didn't get broke up until allegedly the shower at the apartment, at the new apartment, if you believe that. See, it's a matter of what you believe. See, that's the gist of the story.
Well, I believe something happened for the maintenance man to have to come unstop the tub, and for them to take the tub pipes as evidence. Something happened there. So
what's your point? She didn't get them the room. Well, my understanding is I thought she paid for the room, which I thought was strange. Why would you be paying for somebody else's room? But he's a hustler because he tried to get them to pay for the damn van. That's what he does. He's a hustler. That's what people do when they get high on drugs. They hustle people. Because I told myself that then. Why are you this bold to think somebody's going to pay for hotel rooms? Somebody's going to pay for a truck. They already used the couple to get the damn van. They couldn't get it, so then they go find the Middleton guy. He's stupid. He thinks Travis is his friend. Travis testifies, oh, he was just a co-worker. This is what happens. People, they're all users. That's the bottom damn line. They're all damn users. She did pay for the room in a court. She said she did. That's what I thought she did. She said she didn't. She did pay for the room, and in court, she said she didn't. Well, the point is, Adam is a hustler. That's the point I'm trying to make. He was going to get a free ride the best way he could. That's my point. He's a hustler. Yeah, that's what he does.
That hotel room stands with no significance because all they did was put her in the freezer at the hotel.
What?
Yeah.
You know damn well there's no freezers at a hotel.
Well, no, the refrigerator.
Have you seen a small refrigerator?
Yes, I have.
And that means you'd have to take the racks out.
Yes. But she would fit. But like I said, that motel room doesn't stand any significance. What stands significance is the apartment where they tore up the bathroom, the U-Haul truck.
Well, I do believe something was mentioned about them seeing the bag at the hotel or in the car or something when they were doing the transporting of trying to get the van. I believe that was mentioned.
Yeah.
Somebody did see the bag.
Yeah, and it was seen at the pizza place too, in the freezer. Later, employees said that they saw the bag, but they never looked at it. Like, they saw it, but they never looked in it.
None of that makes any sense.
No.
Why would you not go look in the bag? Why would you think a person would come to work and bring a bag and put it inside of a freezer at work? This is why I said, when you look at this story in its entirety, the girl was miserably failed by her mother, her father, Kayla, the relatives in the house, the associates that hung around them, the social worker, the people at the shelter, the people at the fucking apartment complex, the girl who came to the apartment complex, the people, all these people failed her. And it's hard to believe that you have this many people that had access to a child and had no clue what the fuck was going on. This is baffling to me. Because you're talking about a lot of people. You're not talking about no 2 and no 3 people.
That is the worst part. How many people they came in contact with and no one ever thought.
Carla says, I think more people knew and didn't say a word. And that's the question I asked Carla the other day. Are we talking about people who did have an idea something happened to her, but they didn't go call the police? Because you're giving all these people versions. My daughter's with her mom. My daughter's with her mom. Didn't somebody once say to themselves, shit, these folks get high. They ain't taking care of their kids. Maybe they did something to this little girl, but they didn't go call DHS and they didn't go call the police.
Well, nowadays when you call the police or DHS, they want proof. If it's not on video or you don't have a picture, they don't want to hear it.
And then the gist of the story is you're talking about drug addicts. So why are they going to care about a kid when they don't care about themselves? They're out getting high. They probably had children that they were neglecting. So what am I going to go call on my homeboy for or homegirl that they're neglecting their kid when hell I'm probably neglecting my damn kid?
Exactly, because at some point they think that, well, maybe I can use them for this or use that one for that, because Adam and Kayla were.
Shirley said she believes that Kayla knows where the baby is.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know if Kayla knows that.
Well,
I don't know if Adam would make her privy to that or not. I believe Adam got rid of her.
My thing is, she's already a part of me unaliving the kid and knows the baby's dead. That would be detrimental to tell her where the child is. That would be foolish to tell her that.
Yeah, but we can put holes in her story of how the baby died, so.
But I'm still saying, I don't need somebody telling what the child is because that's what will get me a murder conviction. Fine, she's gone and told I unalived the kid, however it went down, made up story, whatever, but I'm definitely not going to tell this heifer where I put the kid because she's already flipped on me now. So imagine if I tell her where the child was, now they can go find the kid or try to find some remnants of the kid. Even if they couldn't, it's just a matter of, I don't need them going looking there where I put the kid.
Well, that one detective said he wasn't going to stop looking.
Teresa, they carried that baby around more than a week, honey. They carried that baby around for 3 months or more.
Or more.
Or more.
Yeah.
Somebody says that what I say is plausible, but I mean it's hard to believe not one person from the work looked in the bag. Because that's the whole point of this story. Somebody says she'd be pushing up daisies. Grace says she'd be pushing up daisies if she knew. I don't know. She knew that the baby's dead. That's still a liability. Even if he didn't tell Kayla where the baby is, she's still an imminent threat because she knows the baby's dead. That's a threat in itself. Whether you ever told her where the baby was or not. Somebody knows you killed the kid. Somebody says Adam told her where the remains, and that is why he was abusing her. I don't know. She says she still cares about him and she loves him. She wants to protect him. I think they're both responsible, at first keeping quiet for each other and later accusing each other. Yeah. You fix it for me. How about that?
It's just, it's a very crazy, twisted story, and it's sad that kids.
Do I think he took the baby to AZ, I believe, and threw her in the river? What do you mean, Arizona? No, he didn't take her to Arizona. He took that baby probably to Massachusetts over that bridge, wherever he was going on the bridge, where they tracked the van. The baby's possibly in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a 2.25 miles along that river, along that bridge.
Somebody says there was a post about the bag, a tip on the bag. Well, that might be the person that called in last Wednesday to the tip line. But see, that right there is bullshit. Why are you calling, bothering the police when you've had years to bring information about something you knew if you knew? You understand what I'm saying? And you see nobody was introduced into the story about anything. So whoever the person is that called the tip line, they didn't come into court to testify.
The tip line person was the father, Adam's father.
Okay, about what, girl?
I don't know what the tip was, but the tipster was Adam's father.
Well, how do you know that?
That's what was being said.
By whom, Hagen? Oh, Lord. Y'all love he said, she said.
I know. I'm speculating on what I heard.
Okay, but where did you hear it, Hagen? Did you hear it from the police? Did you hear it from the police?
No, it was
right.
Not part of the police.
Of
report.
Course. And now he's dead.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where the van was going. All I'm saying is he drove 133 miles. We're going to leave it at that. Because I was trying to Google 133 miles. I couldn't get an estimate.
Okay.
Through Google.
I did the mileage. If they got the van, took it to the gas station, put gas in it.
Oh my God. Stop it, Hagen. You know it had to have gas. Come on now.
Went across the bridge. I have got it clocked to 112 miles. I'm still 21 miles off.
My point is, at 133 miles, driving at least 70 miles an hour, what is the time frame on that?
Why are we getting at 70 miles an hour?
Because that's going to be the average of miles of people driving on the interstate, girl.
Well, over that bridge, the speed limit's only 30 miles an hour.
Well, you're still going to drive probably faster before you get to the bridge. Is the bridge right next door to the hotel?
Not far. It's a few miles from the hotel to the bridge.
Anyway, 133 miles is how far in time? An hour, hour and a half, what? 2 hours?
Yeah, something like that. A little more than 2 hours.
Okay, so that's a nice little ways.
Yeah.
Somebody says, how does anyone know anything was in the U-Haul? Maybe a cat-mouse chase. Well, Grace, you got to remember one thing. It can't be a cat and mouse chase because don't nobody know what I got in the van. Nobody knows if I've got a dead body in here. I didn't tell anybody but Kayla. So there's no cat and mouse chase. That's
And
the
see,
purpose.
here's the other
Listen,
thing.
hold on. That's the
They
purpose of
have
getting.
no other way.
Listen, that's the purpose of getting the van is to take the body somewhere. Like I asked people earlier, what was in the van besides the girl? What did they have furniture in there? Because that would be stupid to be hauling furniture around 133 miles. The more you carry, the more gas you burn. Everybody knows this. You pile your car down, your SUV, your car burns more gas. So I thought that was stupid anyway to go get a van. But then the guy says, well, I did think they were moving because they had stuff packed up in their apartment. So I don't know what to believe. I'm just gonna be truthful. I don't know what the hell they had going on.
But I do believe they used that van to get rid of her because they did not want to get rid of her close to home. Well, they went across the bridge, whether they dumped her off during the bridge or after the bridge, somewhere in that radius.
So they dumped her off and then came back and picked up their furniture from the apartment.
No, from what it sounded like was they put stuff in the van, including her, and went somewhere.
But what I'm saying is, God, y'all act like y'all understand what I'm saying. The guy told the court they had stuff packed up in their apartment.
I just don't know where they took the stuff.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to make people understand.
Yeah.
If you're packing stuff up, you've packed it up for a reason. So that's why the guy said, I believe they were moving because of the stuff in the apartment. So that's what I'm saying. Where did the stuff go? Did he also take the stuff in the van when he disposed of the little girl, or he took the girl first, then doubled back, and then moved the stuff somewhere, and maybe that's why he was late returning the van? Because remember the guy messaged saying, hey, where's the van? You're supposed to have it back at a certain time. Maybe he came back trying to move the stuff. It makes sense. But I'm not going to haul the stuff around unless I wanted to, what I'm trying to say, cover up the bag. See where I'm going?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the police pull me over for speeding, this and that, they can look and see, oh, you got stuff you're moving. And you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to, wherever, make up a place. Yeah, I'm moving to Massachusetts, whatever. I don't know.
And see, the only reason they were clocked is because they didn't pay the tolls on the bridge. They had toll violations.
What?
If they would, yes, that's why the license plate reader on the bridge got them. Took pictures of the license plate.
Because of what?
Because they didn't pay the tolls on the bridge.
Well, see, that just shows how stupid it is. It's just stupid.
It's $1.25 each way.
It's what?
It's $1.25 each way.
Okay, well, he didn't want to pay $1.25. That's why I just said about earlier, renting the van, the hotels. He's a hustler. This is what he does. He uses people, manipulates people. Because I'm trying to understand who paid for the van. I'm not going to pay for a van for you to move. Just like that guy. He paid for those people, Britt and Travis, because he thought they were the ones renting it. They weren't even the ones needing it. It was for Adam. But the Middleton guy didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But this goes to show you this is how criminals get away with stuff. People, they do stuff right in front of people and nobody pays attention to anything. You have to admit this is a bizarre case of a bunch of people being eyewitnesses to a crime that's sitting right in front of them and nobody notices a damn thing. Or if they did, they didn't. They just pushed it to the side. Because this all starts with abuse from the parents, shuffling foster care, the girl being abused in a house, and nobody's saying a fucking thing. Nobody's jumping up to beat Adam up, beat Kayla up. Hey, we're sending this kid back to her mama. Why didn't somebody say that? You don't need this kid. We're going to call her mother, have her mother come get the kid.
Exactly. No, that's the other odd part, that these people had to be acting some kind of strange and no one called anyone to report anything.
It's sad. I'm going to check out of here. I'm almost at 3 hours. What else do you have to say about this storyline and the other storyline?
It's crazy about the jail with the people that are buried. They need to be properly taken care of. Someone
like I said, it's a lot of work.
Be held accountable.
But that's a lot of work. Digging up all those people, trying to identify those people. This is going to be a hot butter mess.
Well, whoever was in charge of that, I'd say he doesn't sleep good at night.
Or she. But that's another thing. Were there any women buried, I wonder? Because I haven't heard.
I haven't heard either.
Carla says, you can't tell me no one heard anything in the apartments. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go on a live after cheating on you.
Yeah, but see, people don't, okay, like the woman that got, I think it was in Tennessee where the guy broke in her house and she ended up missing and was found underneath his uncle's house or someplace like that. The neighbor said they heard noises, but no one ever called anyone.
Well, that's just like the case outside of Knoxville in Anderson County.
Mm-hmm.
I know these people who live right across the street from that white woman that was tortured in that townhouse. You could literally throw a rock from the woman's door over to the damn other door over the fence. And the son in the house said, the person I know personally, they said, oh yeah, we heard that. I heard some noise, he said, of somebody screaming. But yet, naturally, you don't get up, you don't go over there, ask questions, woo, woo, woo. Later we found out she was unalive, tortured, put in an upright freezer for months. The girl finally told it for whatever reason, and then they go talk to him, I believe it was on a Wednesday, the police, and then they come back that Thursday with a warrant. He puts her under the bed, throwing her out. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Throwing her out under his bed.
And no one said a word.
Took a whole human and thrown her out under the damn bed. And they found her in a trash bag thawing out. Unbelievable. 7 kids she had. She didn't, I don't guess she was raising them, whatever, so.
But everyone turns a blind eye these days. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I told the people. I said, damn, you live right across the walk, you live right across the grass from this townhouse, and you heard somebody screaming, and you just said the hell with it. Then I talked to the neighbor who lived on the end apartment. She said she heard a bunch of banging and knocking on the walls and stuff. I said, well, did you call the police? No. I said, did you call the landlord? No. I said, hell, you didn't think they even beat back on the wall to let them know, hey, they're too loud? No. Dodo bird.
Yeah.
Just a dodo bird. Because you ain't going to keep me up banging and slamming shit around all night. Hell yeah, I'm going to bang back on the damn wall. Let your ass know, hey, you need to quiet down. Maybe they would have got scared had the girl beat back on the wall because they might thought, oh, well, maybe she'll call the police. Let me simmer down. Or let me get this girl out of here. You understand? They tortured her. They cut her nipple, all that. They tortured that white lady.
Yes.
And I found it weird that this young girl would be a part of this nonsense with an older man. He was old enough to be her father. It's just baffling.
It's just crazy how people turn a blind eye.
Nobody special. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. These were not unclaimed people. How are they unclaimed if somebody's going to the police department filing a missing persons report?
A lot of them.
And you don't throw people in a burial without them being in a box. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
And the boy in the hair situation, I think that was dumb. I don't think they should have done that.
So what?
The boy with the hair situation.
Yeah.
Kicking him out of school for his hair.
Yeah. I'm going to get off of here because I'm sick of all this trolling. Thank you for joining me, okay?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's Hagen, everybody from North Carolina. Thank you all for joining me. God bless you. 3-hour-long live stream. Please go back to the replay. This is a 2-part live pertaining to a young boy in Texas. He's not been allowed back to school because he wore dreadlocks. The school policy is that boys cannot have hair past the earlobes. A judge has ruled in the school's favor, so we will see what happens there. As I said, this would be detrimental to a child's growth, not being able to hang with his friends, go to school, activities, so on and so forth. Second part of this live is pertaining to bodies found in graves behind a jail in Mississippi. I played you content. Please go back to watch all of the content in this live stream. 200 plus bodies. Some people say it's more, whichsoever. The point is, this is not the way you discard people. And my understanding, some of these people were reported missing. So therefore, they weren't unclaimed. Now, there may have been a few that somebody didn't claim the bodies, but it looks like a conspiracy to me. Now, I don't know what all was going on, but it looks like these officers and the medical examiner, coroner were lazy, and they just didn't want to go out and find the relatives of these decedents. There were men found with wallets, keys, or so on and so forth. So that means they weren't homeless. Duh. They weren't homeless. Because homeless people don't have keys to doors. And most homeless people don't have wallets either. Some don't even have IDs. So if somebody puts out a missing person report of their loved one, they live with them, how would they considered homeless and unclaimed? I don't believe that. And I'm not going to say every situation the same. What I will say is some of these people were poor or working class, but that's not a reason to just throw them in a mass grave and say the hell with them. That's cruel. And then they had the nerve to use inmates to bury these men. Now, were there women also discarded? I don't know. But this is going to be a serious situation of now getting somebody to go and exhume all these bodies and identify them and notify kin if they can. And there needs to be a financial restitution because this is cruel. You don't do humans this way. You don't do no human this way. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. My movie of the week is Karen. Check it out either through the YouTube queue or the All Black Network. You all have a wonderful week. I will talk to you guys later with more stimulating contents and commentary. You've been listening to The Vault XL. Thank you.